Welcome, my friends, to the Eternal Challenger League Season 3. The time is now, the wait is indeed over, and we're going to be jumping right into Season 3 with the Hunter and the Beast DLC. So welcome, guys, and for anyone who's new to the format, I'm sure there's some new faces here on the channel who haven't seen the format of this season. So essentially, there's going to be 8 qualifiers, so we'll go ahead and give you guys a look-see-loo at today's showdown. So for the bracket, we have Prussian Prince facing off against Green in our first match of the day. And the 2 beginning matches are going to be best of 3s. And then the finals will be a best of 5, which is our standard format for the Eternal Challenger League. And yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of fun. So the victor of this particular qualifier then goes on to get their name inscribed in the letter of the Emperor. So their name is going to be added here to this tablet. And those 8 winners of each of the qualifiers will play in a grand tournament at the very end of the season. So the Eternal Challenger League pretty much always comes with new content. So whenever there's a new content drop or anything like that, there's going to be an ECL season to be following it. So welcome, guys. Happy to have you guys here. Season 3, it's on. It's go time. Let us jump right into the first match of the day, which is going to be Green as the High Elves facing off against Prussian Prince, who's going to be on the Dark Elves. So let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Oh, yeah. Yeah, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. See some familiar faces, some new faces. Life is good. Ego, thank you for the donation of the 20 NOK. Getting things hyped. And man, I do love Egos. Those things are delicious. They're just so good. Oh, so good and tasty. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Yes, Falcon will be playing in the second match of the day. He's going to be facing off against Zero. And of course, Falcon was the winner of the first Eternal Challenger League. So the very first season he was the grand champion of. And in the second season, he was a finalist as well. So he's had a pretty good track record. It's happening. Yes, it is. Let there be a reckoning. So in the first match, we do have Green on the High Elves, and he's going to be facing off against the thematic nemesis of the High Elves is going to be the Dark Elves over here. So it'll look like it's going to be Malekith up on the big black dragon facing off against Alariel, the Everqueen, or the Radiant as she's called here. Should be an interesting showdown. Now for the forces of Green, it looks like in front we're going to have 4 spears. And, you know, honestly in this matchup, I feel like Dark Elves usually just bring chaff infantry as well. And you can see here, yeah, it looks like Prussian Prince has some pretty heavy infantry actually. He has Sisters of Slaughter who are very, very good at cutting through light armor. However, Sisters of Slaughter are also very lightly armored. They only have 5 armor. So in terms of like missile fire, if they're taking shots from Lothran Seaguard or even taking cav charges from Dragon Princes or Reavers for that matter, they're going to be taking quite a bit of damage. So both players certainly have tools to deal with one another. So yeah, it's going to be Spearman in the front line, Lothran Seaguard in the secondary, and in the back, it looks like we're going to have a Dragon Prince build. So we do have one group of Dragon Princes here, and I believe he has a second one hiding in the forest here. And on top of that, he does have an Illyrian Reaver. So pretty solid little army for sure. I mean, Dragon Princes are very, very good at hammering Dark Elf infantry. They do a ton of damage against light armor. Bleak Swords have 30 armor. Sisters have 5 armor. I think he does have some other light armor troops back here. No, that's pretty much it. Prussian Prince also has a huge cav core, like heavy, heavy metal there, which is going to be strong. Now, whenever you go Dragon Princes are expensive units in general, right? Like these units that you really want to keep on the battlefield. You paid a lot of gold for them. You don't want them to get gooned out, right? You want to bring ample protection, and Green here has brought that. You can see Green has Alariel the Radiant. He has healing. He has Earthblood. He has a Star of Averlorn. So he's going to be able to keep these Dragon Princes, assuming he doesn't make any huge blunders. He should be able to keep them alive for quite some time. He has a Moon Dragon as well, so the Moon Dragon going to be coming and dropping some of that sweet, sweet breath attack action here. And let's go ahead and take a look here. I don't see this one often. So strong versus a single unit, so more of a single entity kind of gooning thing. Maybe going to be going after Malekith. That's pretty much it. So Dragon Prince's Spearman, and then it looks like Lothran Seaguard in the secondary line. How many does he have? 2 of those guys? Yeah, looks like 2 Lothran Seaguard. Peter, thank you for becoming a member here on the channel. Much appreciated, man. Perfect timing indeed. I appreciate the support. So for the Dark Elves, it's going to be a very mobile force. Now he does have Malekith with Soul Stealer, which is pretty much the standard kit. Here in the front line, it's going to be Bleak Swords. And over here, it looks like for his heavy punch, he does have Sisters of Slaughter, which if you can keep them away from the Dragon Princes and away from, you know, the missile fire, they're going to be able to really chew up those Spearmen pretty effectively. On top of that, he does have the Coldwind Knights, and Coldwind Knights in a vacuum do lose, of course, against Dragon Princes, but Dark Elves have a lot of good support. They bring the Slaanesh Harvesters, they use the Mark of Pain. There's a lot of abilities like that that can be very, very punishing for sure. On top of that, a couple groups of Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, which are a great choice. Very, very good against Dragon Princes, decent against Reavers, good against single entities. I think that Repeater Crossbow cav are a very, very high value utility unit. On the far side, 2 more groups of Coldwind Knights, so in total he does have 4 of those bad boys, and that's going to be pretty much it. So start when ready. No need to wait for me today. All right. Hey, Peter, appreciate it. It's go time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Alariel is going to be a good pick here for sure. Having the healing on the Dragon Princes is quite strong. And Soulstealer Malekith, I think, is one of the more solid picks as well for Dark Elves. And that's going to give some extra AP against these Cav, because Malekith, of course, has 520 weapon strength, good AP values. So against the 110 armor of the Dragon Princes, he should be quite good. On top of that, he is, somewhat armored. So the battle's underway. Dark Elves are going to be sweeping around the edge of the formation, forcing the High Elves back a little bit. Now, the Reavers might be used as kind of a screen here. Maybe they'll send them after these guys, but I don't think so. Not with Slaaneish's Harvesters and Cold Ones and other troops back here. So the Dark Riders get a couple shots into the Cav here in the forest, and it looks like they make some okay contact here with the Dragon Princes, maybe doing a little bit of damage, maybe perhaps 100, give or take. And now you can see that the Bleak Swords and other troops are going to be screening forward, getting ready to engage against the Spearmen. And of course, the Swordsmen will beat the Spearmen in a long, prolonged engagement. And the Lothar and Seaguard are also going to be turning and taking some shots into the Sisters of Slaughter, which are a very ideal target, like I said. Getting rid of them is going to be crucial because they will buzzsaw through a lot of this high alpha, infantry corps like Lothar and Seaguard and the Spearmen. But still, both players, very much feeling each other out. You can see here that Prussian Prince is going to be getting these Cold One Knights, maybe trying to do a bit of a flank here. But oh, he's kind of trapped actually. So here you can see the Dragon Princes are going to be turning around, slamming into these Cold One Knights. Now, Cold One Knights, like I said, have very good trading prowess with Dragon Princes, but getting hammered just, oh man, getting full on surrounded there. So that's a brutal loss there for Prussian Prince. However, in the meantime, he does countercharge here in the front with Malekith, but mainly into spears. So that is a huge grab for green. Great engagement there, getting those Cold One Knights. Now over here we do have Sisters of Slaughter, who should be chewing up the Spearmen, but it looks like they're going to be losing interest in coming over here to help out in the Alpha Strike, which is probably, oh, we have the dragon fight up in the sky. Malekith pinning down the Moon Dragon, but Shield of Thorns has been used by the High Elves. Alariel does, of course, have this. And it's going to be giving weapon damage and all kinds of good stats, including physical resist. Now, Prussian Prince is going to be coming in for a counterpunch here. His Dark Riders are getting a little bit aggressive, probably trying to shoot down these Dragon Princes. But the Dragon Princes get a huge lancing charge into those Sisters there, doing really solid damage. So I would say right now the High Elves are in a pretty commanding position. They've taken very little losses. They were able to pretty much 100-0 a group of Cold One Knights. And they've gotten pretty good engagements elsewhere, but now the Dark Elves might have a chance to kind of get something back over here with the Sisters of Slaughter in sustained combat versus spears and some of these princes, but these other spearmen from the High Elves coming in the back, pinning in these Cold One Knights could be very punishing. Huge Star of Avalorn effect is going to be going down in the center from Alariel, trying to keep the spearmen and these other troops holding. And the Moon Dragon here has disengaged from the main combat, as have Malekith. So Malekith's going to be going in, and this is something that I think is a really good play here by Prussian Prince. Trying to goon out Alariel, essentially, I think is one of his power plays right now, because he is in a bit of a tough situation in terms of his army. Cold One Knights in the back are going to be sweeping in. Oh, that was a close call. Alariel just barely got up in the sky. She almost got pinned in against Malekith with those Cold One Knights, but the High Elves, again, continuing to get those good positions. Dragon Princes here on the flanks are fighting Sisters, which actually isn't good in sustained combat, and this might get Prussian Prince back in the game. These Dragon Princes need to be cycle charging. Though they are okay in sustained combat, they really are shock cav. They have a charge bonus of 80, so leaving them in sustained combat versus something that is very good in that situation is not going to be great. So Malekith here is taking a bit of work from the Moon Dragon and some of the spears. But Prussian Prince is certainly, falling behind a little bit in the bounce of power, but he still does have the repeater crossbows that are shooting in and getting really good value here against the Dragon Princes. If they're allowed to sit and shoot, their AP damage is incredible. And now he could grab these guys, for example, and move on and take out the other Dragon Princes, which you can see, guys, is actually normalizing the bounce of power a little bit. So very tight situation here. Up in the sky, Alariel's flying about on her Pigeon. Malekith is very much down in the pits, and he is taking damage. The bounce power is in the favor of the High Elves, but remember, guys, he's probably packing a huge Soul Stealer in his back pocket, which will heal him up quite a bit. And the repeater crossbows, over the course of a long battle, if left unimpeded here in the back to just shoot, will slowly work down Dragon Princes and those other very high elf or high value High Elf units. Now, as far as what the High Elves have in the grind, they have 21 Dragon Princes here, 37 Dragon Princes here, a fair amount of spears, but Sisters excel at kind of just chewing through units like this. And it looks like the Dark Elves are slowly starting to get a little bit of a wrap here on the Moon Dragon, just kind of coughing up a furball there, not really able to get their best breath attack, but obviously he could dive in and do some work here. But I think the Moon Dragon's trying to mirror Malekith, see where he's going. Really doesn't want to get caught in that duelist situation with Soul Stealer. So Soul Stealer is going to be going down on the dragon here. Granted, it might have been better to use it on this blob here just to get the maximum amount of damage, but it is pretty good against single entities as well. And Malekith coming with a huge breath attack, and it's going to be going in and spitting on the Dragon Princes, and also is able to clip the edge of those spearmen. So guys, Prussian Prince was on the ropes, but he's slowly gotten his way back into this game, as now over the course of this long battle, the Sisters of Slaughter are really grinding out a lot of the High Elf forces. So Dragon Prince is getting a charge there. That's what he needed to be doing for most of the game, is just cycle charging. I think he really left those guys in combat for too long, but nonetheless, Green with a very good Alpha Strike right here. So he's able to get the Moon Dragon, Alariel, and some Princes to punch Malekith, which pretty much counteracted his healing he was able to get there with that Soul Stealer. And Green looks like he's anchoring, so he's getting his stuff together. He's rallying in these Spearmen, and the Dragon Princes are now cycle charging pretty effectively into the Sisters, which are going to go down very quick to High Elf Shock Cav. So Lariel is hanging out in the pocket here, and she does have the healing from the Star of Avalorn, which is now gone, but she is able to kind of tank this a little bit. But it looks like the repeater crossbows are going to be going after the Moondragon, which isn't a bad idea, because if the Moondragon were removed from the equation, for example, Malekith would easily be able to duel a Lariel and really just kind of take her to Pound Town. So right here you can see that Malekith is going to be jumping down, attacking the Lothern Seaguard of Green, but Green's going to be coming in. We got some dragon on dragon action, and even though Malekith is a far stronger dragon, the Moondragon, of course, isn't a pushover, and if he is able to get the ideal charges like this, so Green was able to get the initiative here, get that good charge, and Malekith is looks like he's going to be running with his dragon tail between his legs. So very, very spooky stuff. Now back in the main fight, Balance of Power still very heavily in the favor of the High Elves at this point. Spearmen are going to be rallying back in. There still are some Sisters of Slaughter. It looks like 34 right here, 42 right here, but Green with a very, very good focus fire. So he's getting his Lothern Seaguard here in the late game. He's shooting in. He's poking down the light armor of those Sisters. Oh, and a big breath attack coming in from the Moondragon, able to roast some of those Bleak Swords and do some damage to the Sisters of Slaughter, but Malekith is able to finish off those Lothern Seaguard, or at least terror out them temporarily. Dragon Prince is coming in for a shock charge, which won't do the most damage because of the 80 armor on Malekith, but it's still not bad. And plus the Moondragon coming in, Malekith is very low in leadership. He only has 14, and if he breaks, of course, both of these players being tournament veterans know that if you can break something powerful like this, you just chase it off the battlefield with something that's less valuable. So, I mean, get a Lariel, get your Moondragon, whatever you may have, and just kind of chase it off the battlefield. So the High Elves are actually a little bit broken up as it pertains to the infantry fight. The Spearmen are pretty much crumped, but they still have a lot of powerful units here. So they do, of course, have the Dragon Princes, a Lariel, and the Moondragon are in good shape. And this is a really, really good chase right here. And you can see that's pretty much going to be army losses, which I'm kind of surprised about. But, I mean, a Moondragon plus a Lariel plus Dragon Princes would be able to easily clean up the rest of that force. So well played, guys. That's going to be game one, the first match of the Eternal Challenger League Season 3. And victory shall be going to Green, here in this first game. Let's go ahead and do this. No, that is the wrong button. And update this glorious scoreboard as we do go into game 2 here. So game 2, and we're going to be on to Kelp and Cold Dust is a fun map. Game 2. So Prince, you get 2 bands. And pick. So we're doing, for this season, we're going to be doing a double ban system. So the players get 2 bands, and then for the finals, it'll be single ban, because obviously if you're doing a best of 5 and you're just like double banning, eventually there's going to be like no factions left if it gets really long. Thank you guys for joining, by the way. The fire rises, we grow in strength. That was a GG indeed. What's up, Aerocrastic? So the first initial matches of the day are best of 3, and the finals are best of 5. So we're on Kelp and Cold Dust for the next map. A Prussian Prince is going to be picking his faction now, so he can't pick Dark Elves again. He just have to switch to another faction. And then he gets 2 bans, and then Green picks after he has banned. So he's going to be thinking about that. He can then pick Dwarves, for example, and you can ban, Beastmen or, whatever other faction you think might be very hard for you. And, of course, Dwarves do have a tough time against Beastmen, I think. Yeah, chasing Malekith was very solid. I think if Malekith had been able to maybe squeak away, for example, there could have been a chance for Prussian Prince to come back, because he still did have the repeater crossbows doing a ton of damage against those guys. Granted, his ammunition was running a little bit low as well, so that is another variable to consider. So he bans Vampire Coast, Vampirates, I'm guessing. Vampirates, I think that's what that is. And he's banning BR? What is BR? I'm totally blanking right now. I mean, is it Beastmen? No, it wouldn't be Beastmen. Bretonnia. Oh, Bretonnia, okay. So maybe he's going to be picking another elf faction. And he picks High Elves. Okay, so he's going to High Elves, and we'll see what Green picks. It'd be funny if he just went to Dark Elves. And that's just all we get in this whole series. So Green picks now. And let me go ahead and show you guys the tail of the tape for the day. So if we look at the bracket, so let me jump over here. It's going to be Prussian Prince versus Green in today's first best of 3. Then it's going to be Zero and Falcon in the second match of the day. Falcon, of course, a returning champion. He won Season 1 and was in the finals of Season 2. So we'll see how that goes. And, of course, a winner of each of these best of 3s will face off in the grand finals, which will be a best of 5. Their name will be forever inscribed on the tablet or the parchment of the Emperor. Yeah, it's not a tablet anymore. I'm used to last season, but yeah, the winners will get their names engraved here. And then the 8 winners of the 8 qualifiers will play in the grand finals at the very end for a big old prize and all kinds of good stuff. So it should be fun. All right, back to the lobby here. And Green is going to be picking, he hasn't picked yet. We'll find out here in a second. So Vampire, VP is Vampirates. So it's Vampire Ghost. And then the other band was Bretonnia. And Green's going to be going for the Empire, the hero of the people. Yes, that's what everyone wanted to see, I'm sure. All right, this should be fun. I know it's probably pretty late for some of you guys over in Europe. I try to start at a relatively reasonable time, but some in the wagon counts. Some in the Electro wagons. That's so funny. I love it. The Electro wagons have been summoned. No, it's going to be Empire versus High Elves, which I wonder what new units would even be good in this matchup. I don't know. I think wagons won't be very good. I think that Huntsman might be okay, situationally. Marcus, I think, could be pretty good. I think if you're going to bring like anything new from the DLC, it'd probably be Marcus. The mortar wagons could be an interesting kind of funny pick, but I feel like regular mortars will do the trick just fine. So we probably won't see those. Yeah. Summon, yes. War calls. Oh, yeah. It's go time. So it's going to be Empire vs. High Elves here on Kelp and Coal Dust, which is a relatively small map, so it's close quarters. Marcus Wolfheart could be a pretty good pick here because it doesn't really matter for him. He has pretty short range anyway, so on a small map, he's still going to get his maximum value, give or take. Now, as for sniping, he could be good. He does, of course, have nets, which could be useful against, like, cab charges coming from the High Elves, or if the High Elves decide to go skirmisher play themselves, and, or kiting, having the nets could be very, very good. And Marcus is a pretty good, counter skirmisher, especially if you have some healing to kind of keep him up. I know we're doing a lot of streams. We're going in deep, guys. We've been doing, like, Empire streams every day. I was tempted today. I was like, I want to continue my Karl Franz campaign, but, the Eternal Challenger League calls, and we have to answer. 7 a.m. New Zealand, cozy Saturday ECL. Hey, that sounds like a pretty good deal. What's up, Zyphos? How's it going, man? Oh, yeah. Zyphos, of course, here in chat, was the grand champion of the Eternal Challenger League Season 2. And he'll be coming back to defend his strap sometime in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that, guys. Green is ready. The Sons of Sigmar brace themselves for battle, reciting the oaths, the warrior priest's prayers, all that good stuff. Franz is a pretty good choice for sure. Franz is just like a heat-seeking missile. Like with Galmar Oz, man, he just stomps couches. Like he does so much damage. He does so much damage. The nation calls. It does indeed. The Altdorf division. Well, Royal Altdorf fights pretty much the old way to play Empire pre-DLC, which is kind of spamming, Dammberger Knights and just kind of having a bit of a hammer formation with Karl Franz, which is still very strong. But, in terms of the playstyle, Empire could switch it up. Huntsman, I'm trying to think about their application. Huntsman won't trade well with High Elf Archers is a problem. But they do have the anti-large against, Phoenixes, Dragons, Dragon Princes even. Even though they don't have a good ton of AP, they can still do okay because of their bonus versus large, kind of like Javelins from Norska. Yeah, Marcus is better than a Lithanar in pretty much every way, in my opinion. So that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, but a Lithanar does have long range, so in a way, he does have okay, they're ready, so let's ready up. A Lithanar does have a decent niche against like artillery sniping. I think he's a little bit better at that than Marcus, because Marcus only has 180, so he has to get pretty close. And if your opponent has any like layering or buffering to his army, like it's going to be hard for Marcus to snipe artillery, but a Lithanar can sit back pretty easily and do that. So that is a niche for him that makes him a little bit better than Marcus in that respect. But I think aside from that, Marcus is just exponentially better. His burst damage is better. He has a net. I think they cost around the same, give or take. So guys, we're going to be going into game 2. Currently, Green is up 1-0 here in this best of 3. Prussian Prince on the ropes, but he's coming in with the High Elves against the new Empire. So we're going to see if the upset can happen here. If the Sons of Sigmar can be conquered by the High Elves, we'll find out. Well, the thing about, if you want to just duel Marcus on a Lithanar in a vacuum and just use that as a determination of your test, Marcus has stock. So basically you just take off fire at will and you sneak up on a Lithanar and you just goon him. You'll get close enough. Lithanar, I think, has stock as well. I can't quite remember because I never use him, but you're going to be able to sneak up on each other. A Lithanar can scout with a decoy, but you can see that coming, and you can just run and wait for it to kind of disappear and then go in. So I think in a vacuum, Marcus actually does win a duel as well. It depends. Like, if you just have the AI doing it, that's one thing, but because the AI will just run straight at you. So as far as the bans go, we did have a couple bans coming in from the Prussian Prince. He banned the Vampire Coast, which is interesting. I always thought that High Elves had a very good matchup versus Vampire Coast by just spamming a ton of archers and reavers. But nonetheless, maybe it's a matchup he's not terribly comfortable with. And he also did ban Bretonnia. Now, Bretonnia, I think, can be pretty good against High Elves. High Elves do struggle to kind of fight off the Bretonians, in my anecdotal experience. Granted, I'm not the best at either of those factions, so it's hard for me to really say. But can we get Rascally Wagons? Probably not, to be honest. Oh, Balthazar Gelt and a steam tank. What? Guys, we're getting a steam tank. So no, we're not going to be getting new units here, really. But it looks like the glorious meme tank has been summoned. Oh, man. It's on now. So for the armies of green, it looks like we have Balthazar Gelt with Final Transmutation and Amethyst Wizard with Spirit Leech. So the ultimate Haggard sniping combo. I love it. And for the front line, it's going to be swordsmen, just spearmen, just very much state troops and chaff, because this is expensive here. You had to invest in these guys, plus the meme tank. There's a lot going on. He does also have the silver bullets, some halberds in the back line in reserve, and one group of Reichsguard. So really not much in the way of, like, you know, heavy punch himself aside from the sniping. But Reichsguard, I suppose, can beat Silver Helms. They can beat Reavers. They will lose to Dragon Princes, but I mean, he's going to be playing very defensively, I would imagine. And it looks like Prussian Prince has Reavers and Silver Helms. So this is going to be a situation in which the Reichsguard are actually going to be very dominant. Yeah. This will be quite the test. So the meme tank is also going to be his last pick here. I can't believe we actually have a meme tank in the Eternal Challenger League. I thought this would be a day that although I think it's happened before, but it's certainly not common. Now for the armies of the Great Prussian Prince. It looks like he does have the Illyrian Reavers and 1/1 on the other side as well, yes. Reavers are a great skirmishing unit. Very good for getting into the Empire back line, can take out handgunners, get on cannons, harry formations. And they have good enough stats that if they do have to fight like Empire Knights or troops like that, they will obviously lose because of their lack of AP there, but they can still put up a good fight. Reavers are a very, very solid dynamic unit. On top of that, for Prussian Prince's front line, it looks like it's going to be a combination of white lines and spearmen. I think white lines are probably the ideal front line choice here. Their AP is very helpful against Empire heavy cav, plus they're just, you know, able to beat down most state troops. And even if your opponent does come in with like great swords, for example, they can actually trade very, very well. Good luck. Oh, I thought they were waiting for me again. In the secondary line, it looks like it's going to be a bunch of archers. So we just have regular archers and Lothran Sea Guard. So that's going to give him some decent punch here. Granted, the meme tank does have 160 armor, so maybe some Sisters of Avalorn could have been warranted here. But as far as AP goes, all he really has is the Noble. The Noble, of course, is probably going to be on meme tank hunting duty, teamed up with Teclis here, who does have nets. So he does have the capabilities of trapping it down. Spearmen in the back, and it looks like there's going to be some Silver Helms. Two groups of Silver Helms, which it looks like Prussian Prince is maybe thinking about a frontal charge, which would be good. I mean, if you got a full-on chubby charge right here on top of the Sigmar Sons plus these swordsmen, light armor, good shock damage on Silver Helms, certainly pretty good value. But I don't know. There's not too much in this High Elf army that's going to be very effective at dealing with the meme tank, but there's a lot invested in sniping for Green's army, which has its ups and downs. So for example, if you invest this much in sniping, you're not really going to have great tools for dealing with like simple things like white lines, right? Because what here is going to do great against white lines? Not much, to be honest. I mean, aside from the silver bullets here, so. Always, no need to wait for me. I'll let them know. They don't need to wait for me. There's going to be a lot of sniping here. So the archers have the potential to wear down the meme tank over the course of a long battle, especially since Green didn't go with the classic meme tank combo, which is bringing in Lore of Life to heal it. So it can be gooned out, but it's going to take a lot of firepower because the meme tank has 6,800 HP plus 160 armor. So the archers have almost no AP. It's very, very low. So they're going to be able to really kind of tank that. So there is also cannon in the back for the Empire, which is going to be, I think, a standard great cannon. And it looks like it's going to be going in after the white lines initially, which is a good choice. I mean, white lines are a pretty big threat and will eventually get through his front line. So the meme tank is also going to be shooting in at some of the archers here, getting some OK damage in. Very, very strange pick, though. The meme tank is, I mean, I guess High Elves don't expect a ton of armor in this matchup, but usually a lot of High Elf players will account for like Demogryph Knights, so they'll bring AP for that. So it seems like a risky pick here for the meme tank. Now in the forest, it looks like, oh, Prussian Prince is going to get ambushed. These Reichsguard Knights are going to be countercharging. Is Prussian Prince going to see this? Oh, it looks like the Reichsguard are going to get the charge. No, Prussian Prince reacts very, very quickly and is able to get away from that threat. In the meantime, the archer power here from the High Elves is going to start just raining torrents of fire in against this Imperial army. And it looks like a countercharge coming in from Prussian Prince. The Reichsguard maybe thinking about turning around and charging here. But he's actually going to be charging into the flank of the swordsman. But the Reichsguard Knights do get the countercharge. So these Illyrian Reavers probably are going to be taking a pretty big beating. I don't know if that was a worthy engagement. Now, as far as the frontline fighting goes, Sigmar Sons are fighting up against the White Lines here. The Silver Bullets in the back are lending some supporting fire, but they're going to have a very bad time. Archers are pretty much a counter against handgun type units, and the White Lines will eventually get through the Sigmar Sons, and here in the center, the White Lines are going to break through. Granted, Green does have layers to his formation, so he's pretty much staggering and kind of trying to, drag the high elves through the mud here, but I just don't see the value that this meme tank is going to be able to get. So the meme tank is going to be pushing in now, and it does cause terror, so some of these units could be terror routed, and the Reiksguard Knights in the forest are able to get a good engagement and really hammer down these Reavers. But so far, I would say that Prussian Prince's army composition is going to be a little bit more effective here, and he's shooting the Halberds here, which is a great play. Halberds have 30 armor, they have no shields, they're like a choice target. Now the sniping is underway, there's going to be an overcasted Final Transmutation going down, which is a little bit tough because it's such a mana-intensive spell. I don't know if he's going to have enough to, Spirit Leech and do that. So the double caster here, I don't know if it's going to be super strong. But the here in the back, the Reiksguard Knights are able to punish the Reavers. So that's a pretty good boon there for Green. But so far, Prussian Prince's archers are tearing apart this Empire line. You can see here the Halberds in the back line are just getting taken apart by the archer play. There are some Reiksguard in reserve, which if used effectively could hammer down the White Lines, but now there's going to be Reavers slipping through this gap right here, so very, very good kind of penetration here from the Prince. He's going to be getting in the back and probably attacking the caster and some of these other threats here. Spirit Leech is going to be going down on the Silver Helms, which, I feel like if you're not going to be going all in on the sniping here, it's tough because he just did a little bit of damage to the Noble, but aside from that, his magic hasn't been too strong. And here you can see the Prince's calves are going to be getting into the Silver Bullets, and the Silver Bullets are a unit he really needs here. And these guys going down is going to be incredibly tough. I mean, yes, eventually the Spearmen and the heroic characters here, Balthazar plus the Amethyst Wizard, will get them off, but it's pretty much value gotten at this point. The Silver Bullets are going to be going down. So as far as Green's army goes, he does have the Reiksguard here. He's got Reiksguard here in the back line. And, never underestimate the meme tank. The meme tank can be very, very tough to take out. And you can see the meme tank has taken out the White Lines here, or at least, gotten them very, very low and allowed the Sigmar Sons to kind of fight back at this point. But the meme tank is just kind of Tokyo drifting about, looking for opportunities, just causing terror wherever it goes. And it looks like the Empire forces are able to fend off these guys right here. And the Reiksguard Knights are going to be coming in for a countercharge. Granted, there's a huge layer of spears back here, so Prussian Prince does have adequate resources, plus a Noble. And again, for anyone who's new to the game, Nobles are anti-large armor-piercing specialists, so this guy is going to be able to easily fend those guys off. So in the back, the cannon's still in line, and somehow, some way, Green was able to actually save the Silver Bullets, so very, very nice stuff there. And it seems like it's actually a very close battle. I mean, it looks like the High Elves were in such a dominant situation, but the High Elf front line, including the White Lions and the Spearmen, are starting to kind of get overrun by the Sons of Sigmar. So Green is probably going to want to kind of spread out this formation right here. I think Teclis probably does have Fiery Convocation. Let's go ahead and double check here. So Teclis is lurking here. There's the Amethyst Wizard actually casting another Spirit Leech on the Noble. So it looks like he's going after the Noble, which if you're going to snipe something here, the Noble probably is the best choice because the Noble is the most natural counter against the meme tank. Aside from that, not much in this army has a lot of great answers against the meme tank. And if the Noble got taken out, for example, and the meme tank were able to blob up with this Empire core, that's going to be a mobile blob that is going to be able to grind pretty effectively and also cause terror. But now you can see the Noble's going to be hot in the pursuit here of the Steam Tank. Steam Tank's in a little bit of trouble. He needs to drift, but the Steam Tank is quite an elusive predator here. As you can see, it's just like driving circles around the Noble. But it looks like there was a nice little flock of doom going down there from Teclis. But Teclis, does he have Fiery Convocation? He does not. So Fiery Convocation is a bound spell for Teclis, and it actually got buffed very heavily in this patch. And it does a ton of damage now. It still has the same issues of casting very slowly and being weak in that respect, but it does a ton of damage now. Now, somehow, some way, Green's meme tank build is clawing its way back in the balance of power here, and it looks like he's actually in the dominant position as the archers aren't really able to kind of deal with just the massive shielded spearmen and shielded infantry, and the White Lines weren't able to really punch through those forces. Balthazar Gelt probably pretty low in Winds of Magic, but he is popping the Arcane Conduit, and the Amethyst Wizard probably still has a Spirit Leech in the wings. Teclis does have regrowth as well, so he's probably going to want to regrowth that Noble, otherwise the meme tank's just going to run rampant. I mean, meme tanks are very tough to take down, and oh, look at this though, this is brutal. So in the back, the Empire Cannon is still shooting at the Noble, but look at this, there's going to be some cav coming in from Prussian Prince. The Reavers get a very nice charge into the Great Cannon here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. There's only a couple of them, and they're taking Overwatch fire here from the Silver Bullets, who managed to survive somehow. And guys, the meme tank, for the first time in this battle, pulls ahead. The glorious machinations of Nuln here, just doing a ton of work and just running over these High Elf Spearmen. And now Teclis is even having to get his hands dirty. He's charging in there, he's trying his best with his cane, but the meme tank is just so tanky. And the High Elf Infantry are getting pushed back. And now let's take a look at what we have for the Empire. I mean, it's still a close battle. And a regrowth on the Noble would be very, very welcome right now. But it looks like he does have 244 HP, negative 25, and the Noble is going to be breaking. Man, the stank is just going in there. Oh, it's just running over these forces. I mean, the Empire doesn't have... They're very tattered in many respects, right? You have just a couple beat-up spearmen. The cannon in the back is a pretty big issue, though. If Prussian Prince were able to get something back here to shut down the cannon, I think that would open up his counterplay a lot. But it doesn't seem like he has anything that can really get back there. And anything that does want to rotate back there is going to have to face the wrath of, the Emperor here. The steam tank is just going to be running things over. And Balthazar Gelt, obviously not the best combatant in the world, but he still probably could put up a fight against Teclis. So Gelt has 34, 38, 300, and Teclis is 38, 40, 280. So better stats on Teclis, of course, but Balthazar Gelt hits a little bit harder. That would be an interesting tool to have. So High Elves are going to be falling back a little bit, which isn't a bad idea, trying to pull back the meme tank. But the cannon is still shooting, and it still has a lot of ammunition. It still has 9 volleys, it looks like. So that's going to be some heavy cannon fire coming in. And the meme tank is just running over this guy. Oh my god, look at this thing go! It is an unholy terror in the night. So the steam tank getting a huge charge here into these guys, and it is just rampaging through these forces. And if the High Elves blob up on it, I mean, it's going to be able to terror out them, and there's also some Imperial Spearmen coming in. This thing is just... I can't believe it. The meme tank pulling ahead, and the High Elves are slowly starting to crumble here. I never would have thought in a million years that this thing would win this battle for him. But I guess when we looked at the army in the beginning, we could see that Prussian Prince didn't really have any AP. I mean, aside from the noble, his army was very, very AP light. So the steam tank, I suppose, was in a very dominant position in that respect. Like, it didn't need to worry about being bursted down. One group of Sisters of Avalorn, for example, could have probably melted the steam tank very, very effectively. So anyways, here you can see Balthazar Gelt and the Amethyst Wizard are going to be swooping in. Spirit Leech is coming down on Teclis right here, and it does some okay damage. Able to get him down to about 1300 HP. So the Wizard, we're going to have a glorious Wizard battle as Balthazar Gelt, the Supreme Patriarch, is going to be charging in on his steed, which... I don't know. I think his Flying Pegasus is called Quicksilver. I don't think his horse actually has a name. Oh, but Teclis is going to be coming in for the counterpunch, and this is what Prussian Prince needs to get back in this game. Potion of Croy has popped. If he could, goon out these casters, and he does goon out the Amethyst Wizard. Very, very nice catch right there. Oh, Teclis is pissed, and he actually takes out the Amethyst Wizard. He breaks him. So at this point, if he wants to, he could probably easily chase that off the battlefield. So that is a very, very good grab right there. And you can see that grab on the Wizard actually normalizes the bounce of power a little bit, but that dreaded steam tank is up to 193 kills. It is just running those guys over, and it's also earned 2 chevrons, which is insane. So anyways, right here, the Wizard for the Empire is taken out. Balthazar Gelt has probably learned his lesson. He's like, don't mess with Teclis. The cannon fire here, the Great Cannon, probably going to be switching on to Teclis as well. He's pretty much the last value target. I mean, if Teclis goes down, this battle's 100% over. Not to say that it's already not. I just don't think anything can really damage the meme tank. I honestly think if you removed everything from the Imperial equation here, the steam tank could probably finish off this entire army. I mean, it is a meaty threat. Silver Bullets are able to come back up to 62 kills, and they still have pretty much half their firing capacity, so these bad boys still have 31 models, which means their punch isn't going to be bad. So if they're sitting here shooting at Teclis, who probably doesn't have too much magic left, yeah, that's doing some pretty good work. Cannon fire coming in, 947. Balthazar Gelt lurking in the trees. Oh, and we're going to have the missile duel as the Lothran Seaguard draw out their spears, and they're going to be charging in, and the Silver Bullets probably will get broken off by that charge there. But Teclis having a really bad time. Looks like Potion of Croy is going to be going down again, which is a heal, of course, a very, very nice one. And the meme tank is just terrorizing the High Elves. It is the meme tank. 226 kills on this Dread Beast. Look at it just riding around. And there's just no AP here for the High Elf army. I mean, something that I always bring against Empire is I always bring 2 bolt throwers. Bolt throwers are a counter against Empire cannons and are a counter against steam tanks, and they're also very good against heavy calves. So if you want to play against Empire, my recommendation would always be to bring 2 equal claw bolt throwers. So Teclis is going to be charging in, but what can Teclis do? This ancient elven wizard, what can he do against the Might of Sigmar steam tank? I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and that's going to be army losses, guys. So Green is going to win with a 2-0 here, coming in with a steam tank build, which is very unorthodox. It's very unorthodox. Man. So well played to those 2 fine gentlemen. That was quite a fun series, I must say. And that is going to be a 2-0 victory for Green. So well played to Green and Prussian Prince. Let's go ahead and update the bracket for today. Green is going to be moving forward to face the winner of Zero and Falcon. Well played, well played. So Green... see you in finals. All right, guys. So that's going to be game 1 there, or match 1, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and set up here. So let's go ahead and invite the gentlemen. So the next match is going to be Zero facing off against Falcon, which should be quite a bit of fun. So let's go back to the battle scorecards. Thank you guys so much for joining today. It's been quite a bit of fun. Falcon always plays under weird names, so let me go ahead and just ping them in Discord just to let them know they're up. All right. Zero with a 0. Falcon is here. The pride of the Lizardmen. Child of the old ones. We're going to be on Oakenhammer here. And let's go ahead and find Zero, which I think he's playing under Moose Hunter right now or something along those lines, perhaps. We'll find him on this this dreaded friends list. He was in the game earlier, but we'll just give him a second. Anyways, let's go ahead and update the scoreboard. One of the returning champs is here, guys. You guys are just like, anytime, brother. You guys are loving the Steam Tech, I'm sure. This is going to be Falcon. We'll put them as their actual names here, regardless of what they join as. So the community knows. And this is going to be Zero. Great, he's in. All right, so the players are here. They're going to be setting up, and we are on our second best of 3 of the day. Today we rise. The steaming hot buns. Are you guys just dropping like haggard puns? Like, oh my god. I love it. You guys are just out of control. So Falcon picks and double bans. Yes. And we're going to be on Oakenhammer. So on that note, guys, let me go ahead and grab some water because I'm quite thirsty. This casting has parched me. Yeah. No, I just paid for the single license for Premiere. That is some delicious water, if I do say so myself. Oh. So we got 807 people here. Thank you guys so much for joining on this Friday afternoon. I know there's a lot of tournaments going on. I saw a bunch, but this is the only time I can stream for like the next 3 days, so I just had to get it in. That's what she said, but yeah. So it looks like we're going to have Lizards versus Chaos. So I know that Zero is a Chaos main, and Falcon is pretty much a Lizardman main, so this is going to be fun. Perhaps we're going to see the dreaded Dread Saurian. I don't think so. I hope he doesn't, because it's just so risky. I mean, I know what you guys want. I know what you want. Yeah, stay hydrated, correct. Stretch the legs. We'll see what happens here. The Dark Gods facing off against the Old Ones, the classic rivalry. Dual screening this. Nice, nice. Well, you know, I do usually have the gallon. So basically we pay for a service where they deliver like just big tanks of water, and we have like a little dispenser machine. So I just use that. The Dread Saurian, you know, if there is a matchup in which the dreaded Dread Saurian might work, it might be against Chaos, because Chaos's missile play is kind of weak. So like what you could do, for example, is you could just stack the Dread Saurian and bring a Life Salon and then get like a bunch of Temple Guard, and it might be kind of hard for Chaos to deal with that. I mean, I still think it's a weak, suboptimal build, but if anyone can pull it off, it's Falcon. I mean, Falcon is obviously one of the better players out there, so... Like, I saw Falcon playing on someone's stream a couple days ago. It might have been Spartacus. I'm not sure. But he was able to win a game against a very good player using a Dread Saurian Temple Guard build. But, I mean, I don't think he's going to do that. I have a feeling he's going to go with something more traditional here. And this is usually just a monster mash fight. Usually you see, like, just Alpha Strikes coming in from Dragon Ogre Shaggots against, you know, Sora Scar Veterans and Carnosaurs and things like that. So that's usually what you see in this matchup. So it could be a little bit different. Wookiee's in the living room. He's doing good. Yeah, so, Udall, we just started. This is the first episode of the Eternal Challenger League, the first qualifier of Season 3. So we're just starting Season 3. And there are a lot of Orc players who will be playing in the next couple weeks. Most namely Slade X. He's like an Orc main, and he's very, very good at Greenskin. So we're going to get him in, and there'll be plenty. We had a 2-0 in the beginning. The first match is over. It was a good series, though. We actually got to see the dreaded Steam Tank in action. I'll let them know. Start when ready. No need to wait for B. Cool. Zero is ready. Falcon is making the final tweaks to his army. Oakenhammer is a relatively small open field map, but it doesn't really matter for either of these factions since neither of them really care about artillery play that much. You know, it's just going to be fisticuffs. It's going to be fisticuffs. Skink spam. I don't know if we'll see too many skinks. I mean, maybe. Falcon likes to use skinks as like a counter-skirmishing unit. So if you're expecting Marauder horsemen and you don't have a mobile army yourself, you just use skinks on the periphery to kind of screen out horsemen. And they're very good at it. The skink cohorts, of course, have shields against Marauder horsemen fire, and they also do throw javelins. So they can be really oppressive against those type of units. So we'll see how it goes. The returning champ is back. Falcon, well, returning finalist. He was the champion. You know, once a champion, always a champion. So he did win season 1, of course. So he is a returning champ here. No Dread Saurian. It's actually going to be a pretty standard build, it looks like. Falcon, he knows he wants to qualify. He wants to get into those finals. He's coming out for blood. But Pterodon Riders are going to be a very interesting pick. I'm quite excited to see what he does with those. So we did go with a Monster Mash. He does have 2 Pterodon Riders, which I would imagine he uses them for counter-skirmishing, perhaps. They do have 90 range and poison, so they can be quite good against horsemen who only have 80 range. So I actually really like this. It's kind of a counter-skirmishing tool against some of these guys. Plus, against like Dragon Ogres who only have 70 armor, they can poke and do some okay work. So 2 Pterodon Riders here. For his main army, it looks like Temple Guard and Saurus Warriors. So he's going to have a pretty meaty little core here. Temple Guard are very good against Chaos. They have solid AP, they have anti-large, so they're good against Chaos Infantry, and they're also quite good against large threats. So he does have 2 of those bad boys, it looks like. And for his Salon, he does have a Light Salon. So the Light Salon actually got buffed. I would call it a buff. Some people are like, oh, I want my Undead Curse back. But Exorcism, if you look at the passive now, whenever you cast a spell with Lore of Light, it gives your whole army forward leadership, and it also gives them immune to Psych, which is good against Dragon Ogres, because Skinks, you know, can't be Terror Rapid. That's pretty much it. I mean, Salamanders for the anti-large here, and 2 Feral Carnos. So the Feral Carnos is certainly going to be quite scary. Yeah, it's really just going to be a Monster Mash fight. And for the Forces of Zero, so he has a little bit more of a mobile army here. He does have 2 groups of Marauder Horsemen, and again, having that kind of mobile missile pressure on the big dinos can be helpful. Poison Hounds for his infantry corps. He's got Marauders, Marauders, Marauders. 2 groups of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, which he's going to be super grateful he brought these, because these guys are probably one of his best tools against Temple Guard. Aside from that, he doesn't really have a good answer. Mirror Guard, Mirror Guard. Oh, and the Swords of Chaos in the back. So guys, the Swords of Chaos aren't necessarily a meme unit anymore. They actually got buffed pretty heavily in the patch. I don't know if I'd call them like hyper competitive yet, but they did get buffed. So it's good to be Kolek coming in, and it looks like another Dragon Ogre. So Kolek plus the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth are stronger than Feral Carnosaurs. Or maybe not the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, but Kolek definitely is. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this duel goes. And also, you know, the Marauder Horsemen, as far as like other tertiary benefits, they are going to be pretty good at least keeping the Pterodons away. Pterodons can outrange them and probably outskirmish them if microed effectively, but you know, it's at least going to keep the keep them at bay from just kind of sitting over your army. So we got double Shaggoth Pound Town. And as far as the caster goes, it's going to be Shadows. Shadow with the Enfeebling Foe is pretty much the standard pick here against monster duels, because you enfeeble the other monster and you're able to win that duel. So Salamanders here. Salamanders might be pretty good as well. They do have more range than Horsemen, so they should be able to kind of get some pot shots at a lot of these skirmishers. And if they just want to sit in the back behind the Temple Guard, for example, they are going to be able to put some hurt on the Dragon Ogre here. So very, very cool to see Salamanders in action. Excited to see what he does with those bad boys. I'm incredibly excited for the Gotrek and Felix stuff. Oh my god. That's going to be so cool. I'm in the middle of reading the books right now, so like I'm super hyped about it. Yeah, and if you guys haven't read that, just get the Gotrek and Felix Omnibus. It's a really, really fun read if you're interested at all in Warhammer Fantasy. So what Falcon's doing here is he's bringing up the skink cohorts and using them as a screen, because Salamanders, if caught in open field, obviously will get taken out very quickly, even by like hounds and kind of just chaffy troops. But here he's getting a couple pot shots into Marauders. He is able to take out 9 models, which is nice, and he's using the skink cohorts with javelins to punish the Chaos Skirmishers here. So the Chaos Warhounds get caught. Oh, brutal damage coming in. Look at that. Able to Shrek 6 of those Marauders right there. Very, 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 very solid stuff. And it looks like Zero is going to be using the Melkos Mystifying Miasma right here to kind of slow them down and try and catch them. But Salamanders are very, very fast. They still have 70 speed. I think when they were nerfed there, they had like 50. But the Feral Carnos are nearby. And yeah, really good skirmishing here by Falcon. Granted, some of his horses might get picked off. He's probably going to lose these skink cohorts pretty badly. But nonetheless, the skirmishing is going quite well. And you can see here that the Salamander hunting packs are going to be raining some fire here on the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Now, Chaos has no way of healing. Granted, this Lizardman army doesn't either, so pretty much all damage you see is going to be permanent. Swords of Chaos getting in there pretty balls deep. Going to be charging into this Feral Carnosaur and really just getting super aggressive. They need to be careful, though. There's Temple Guard here. And if they get caught by the Temple Guard, that's going to be a rough situation. But Zero is able to micro back, so very, very good play there. Had he been caught, that could have been a pretty catastrophic loss. Now, the Feral Carnos here are going to be charging in. Oh, and a net of Amnichok coming down on the Swords of Chaos. And the Feral Carnosaurs are going to be 2v1ing them. So those Swords of Chaos are going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, this is a horrible situation for Zero right here because the Temple Guard is saturated here. The Carnos are saturated here. Assuming Falcon's micro with the Feral Carnosaurs is good, this is going to be a really, really bad situation for Chaos. So some Temple Guard are going to be falling back to kind of screen out this onslaught, but the other Temple Guard are saturated here in the center mass of this fight. And the Swords of Chaos are holding. Standardized is going to be helpful. There needs to be some elite Chaos Infantry in here, though, for sure. And you can see here, one Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is going down rather quickly. But again, Falcon's also losing his Feral Carnosaur. So this might be an okay situation for Chaos. If they're able to get this Feral Carno down and really kind of push him back, that could be a game-changing situation. So Falcon, of course, a pretty savvy player here, isn't going to be blobbing his Temple Guard. Rather, he's going to be keeping them back in reserve just so they don't get caught with, like, pendulums and things like that. Granted, the player didn't, or his opponent Zero did not bring that spell there. So one Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is actually taken out, and it looks like this Feral Carnosaur from Falcon is going to be chasing it off the battlefield. He 100% should. Of course, Big Papa Kolek still going in pretty deep, and if Kolek is able to take out this Carno, that could be pretty nice, but the problem is for Chaos, is all of this fighting is taking place on top of Temple Guard. So despite the damage coming in from the Feral Carnos and these other troops, there's just so much damage coming in from the Temple Guard and the stationary kind of static troops on the ground from the Lizardmen. Now here's a bit of a dangerous situation for the Carno, but it looks like there's still another one that's very healthy. Kolek is in a 2v1 situation versus 2 T-Rexes, and that never ends well. But the Swords of Chaos are here, so Kolek does have the Guardian ability, so he's going to be much tankier than he usually is, but against 2 Feral Carnos, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull this one out. Maybe. Yeah, he's getting a Shadowcaster back here, which is going to be helpful. Oh, and the other Dragon Ogre has come back. That actually gives Chaos a chance here, because if this Dragon Ogre didn't come back, I think it would pretty much be game blouses. Anyways, Kolek here is taking a bit of a beating. Swords of Chaos are helping. Guardian ability keeping him alive. I mean, he probably would have been dead by now, if not for the Guardian. And the Swords of Chaos plus the Shadowcaster are going to continue fighting on the Feral Carnosaur, but Kolek getting broken like that is huge. Because again, Falcon can use these Pterodon Riders to chase him off the battlefield, which would be very, very strong. So if we look over here, the Salamanders are engaged in melee combat versus Marauder Horsemen, which is actually a pretty good engagement for them. And they do have pretty okay weapon damage. Their combat stats aren't great, but they should be able to beat Horsemen like this. Temple Guard are in good shape here. There's another group of 74 Temple Guard that are pretty much at full health. And Falcon seems like he's in a pretty dominant position right here. You can see the Slan Mage of Light is healthy. Slans are just such good units. And his micro with the Carnosaurs was very good this game. Making sure to have all his fights on top of the Temple Guard was just, I think, the really big deciding factor here. So in the meantime, you can see Zero's Dragon Ogre Shaggoth in the back is going to be probably getting taken out by the Pterodon Riders, honestly. Just kind of poking it in the back, 623 HP. And it looks like Kolek did come back for a second, but the Pterodon Riders are just hunting him. That's why it's always so good to have like a unit like that, like any sort of a cheap skirmisher cav unit just to chase things off. Now, Chaos does have some okay infantry left. They do have the Mirror Guard and some Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but that's not going to be enough. The atomic teabagging here of the Feral Carnosaur is unrivaled. He's going to be able to get in there and do some pretty good work. So that is it. Man, quite a battle. Falcon and the Monster Mash coming out with the Salamander counter-skirmishing and the Feral Carnosaur follow-up, really making sure he can get those optimal engagements using the nets of Amnichok. So that's why Lore of Light is so good in Monster Mash fights, because Monster Mash fights, it really just comes down to who gets the better engagements, right? And having that net to control those engagements is like game-changing, especially in the hands of a savvy player. But it was a good battle. Zero played a great game. Both players played a very good game, but alas, the children of the old ones shall emerge victorious this day. So Falcon going to go up 1-0 here in this game. And let us go ahead and jump over to the next game here. And here we go. And let us go on to... we're going to do a new map here. So let's see if we can find one that's a fun map. Because I always do the same maps. It's kind of hard, though, because there's only so many maps that are really good for multiplayer, like that are balanced, I would say. You can do Tower of Hoth. That's fine. Yeah, Tower of Hoth is one we do a lot, but... That was a good game. That was a really good game, yeah, absolutely. And now we're on to game 2, so Falcon's going to be coming in hot with the Norskins, and Zero looks like he's going to be bringing out the Bone Daddies. Bone Daddy Zero coming in with the Tomb Kings. Let's see. Falcon is truly blessed by the old ones. Yeah. Chaos needs that Popeye's chicken. Is that a reference to Daniel Cormier? Or no, God, what's that UFC fighter's name? I can't remember off the top of my head. You know, the last time I had KFC was like maybe 2006. So I played high school football, and our coach on the way back from football games, so we would finish playing a game. He would never do it beforehand, but after games, you know, when we'd be on the bus trip back, he would take us to get KFC, which was, oh God. And I remember the last time, like, I had just played like a very hard football game, right? I got bruised up pretty good. And I remember just like eating a huge bowl of KFC, and just, it's such a euphoric experience when you're eating the KFC, but as soon as like 30 minutes to an hour passes, like you just want to die. Like I was literally just on the toilet. Oh God. Parker, that's fine. You can call me Bone Daddy if you want to. Two Devil, it's the atomic teabag, man. Oh, Marcio, I'm sorry that the positioning of this hero is haunting you. Yeah, here, let me see if I can fix that for you a little bit. How's that? Let me know if that helps with your OCD there that you're mentioning. One second, guys. All right, perfect. Everything's looking good here. Zero on the Tomb Kings is ready to go. Falcon with his Norscan horde, which I assume we're going to be seeing some mammoths since he loves his beasts. Although Falcon, in the early days, when I first met Falcon, I remember he used to like using frostworms a lot, so maybe we'll see those guys. Is there any reason why you never see greenskins bring Arachnox? You do see them occasionally. It's a relatively niche pick because greenskins really get a big force multiplier from having a wide army rather than an elite one because of the Wa effect, but you do see them in some matchups. I think Arachnox spiders, especially the queen, can be very good. Yeah, Gojira, of course. We would have team dinners and have spaghettis. That's very much an American football thing. Yeah. Paul Perez says he had KFC in Thailand. Yeah, that's risky, brother. I mean, having KFC anywhere is risky. You know, and apparently, so when I was in Poland with my lovely wife, Anna, she mentioned that like KFC is like better in Poland. It just tastes better. I didn't eat it because this was recent and I didn't feel like suffering while I was abroad, but something to think about here. So players, let me see there. Yes, Norska. Thank you guys so much for joining. 953 people, 964. We're going in. And we're in the second best of 3 of the day. So for anyone joining, let us go ahead and recap. So today's bracket, Green was able to win the first best of 3 against Prussian Prince and advance onward. And now it's going to be 0 in Falcon. In this next best of 3, currently Falcon is up 1-0. If 0 does take the game, it will go to the game 3. But aside from that, we're going to have a best of 5. And the winner will have their name inscribed in the parchment of the Emperor. And they're going to be qualifying for the grand finals, which is our typical Eternal Challenger League grand finale format. And here we go. My hand's doing okay. It's doing okay, Udall. Honestly, though, those long campaign streams were pretty brutal because they were like 3.5 hours, but I'm okay. Tomorrow I'm going to be playing in a Warhammer 40k tournament, so going to be going pretty hard in that. That should be fun. Yes. The Eternal Challenger League. Peter says that KFC is pretty good in the Czech Republic. Huh. Learned something new today. You know, next time I'm in Poland has such good food. It's like, oh man, when I'm in Poland. So basically, pierogies are like my favorite thing on the planet. Like when we're in Poland and like if there's like, you know, a mom and pop place or anywhere serving pierogi, I'm just going to be like a heat-seeking missile going for those sweet dumplings. However, like if I'm hanging out with Anna's family, I mean, Anna and her mom are both very, very good cooks, even though Anna will say she's not. God, she makes such good homemade food. And then on top of that, I love eating kielbasa with like bread. Like I remember just like countless days when I was in Poland, just like laying on the couch, just eating a fat piece of kielbasa and just chewing on some locally baked bread. Oh God, it was so good. I play Death Guard and Thousand Suns typically in Black Legion. Those are my armies, yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'll put up a community post or something. It would be really hard to record the tournament because unfortunately, like a lot of opponents wouldn't want to be recorded, number one, and put up on like a YouTube channel. And number two, the issue is that in Warhammer 40k tournaments, you only have 2.5 hours. And that's including deployment. Like, so each player only has an hour and 15 minutes of turn time. So like you actually use a chess clock, and when you're using time, you switch it back to your opponent when you're done. It's very, very intense. So I wouldn't really have time to like give you guys good narration and everything. So yeah, physicals. Either of those are great, man. Whatever you prefer, no stress. I just appreciate it, man. All right, guys, so here we are in game 2 between Falcon and Zero. Falcon coming in with the classic Frostworm build. So for the front line, it's going to be Marauders, Iceworm Marauders, Berserkers. You don't really need much more than that to deal with Tomb King's infantry. On top of that, he does have the Miststalkers and some familiar with great weapons to deal with constructs. He does have the Frostworm, which is a really good Alpha Strike tool, because if you are able to jump someone with familiar, you then rear charge them with the Frostworm. You hold them in place with the Chilling Aura and the Frostbite. It's very, very good for finishing off isolated threats. 2 groups of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, which Zero actually has a pretty good counter for. He does have Skeleton Horsemen Archers, which are a natural counter against these type of units. On top of that, we got a Fireball Caster, and we do also have a Big Daddy Throg. Now for the forces of the Tomb Kings, the Bone People, it looks like it's going to be Skeleton Warriors in the front line, Halberds in the secondary line, and a Camarine War Sphinx plus Cetra. Or actually Tomb King, no, so it's just going to be a Tomb King, and as far as the caster goes, we have an Necrotech to heal up these constructs, which is going to be quite good. And a Lich Priest of Nehekara. So if you actually overcast Cursed Blades, it does give a bonus versus large. So for example, if you overcast that on top of, let's say, Cetra or a Tomb King, it will give him a bonus versus large, which makes him much better at fighting these other monsters. But honestly, I really like Zero's army. The Ushopti Great Bows are a great answer against Famir. And I don't know, he does lack a little bit in the anti-large department. Like, he doesn't have like too much in that respect. Yeah, he's got a Necrotech plus a Lich Priest. His Ushopti Great Bows are really going to have to pay some dues. I mean, okay, he does have a lot of anti-large in the form of Halberds, but you know, fireballs, burning skulls, things like that can really roast those units. So I don't know. I guess it'll just come down to the halberd play. So Fireball coming in from Falcon does make some okay contact with the Lich Priest. Now Fireball has been heavily nerfed. Old school Fireball would have pretty much brought that guy down to like half health. So you can see the change in that kind of stat line there. Anyways, Skeleton Horsemen Archers and Nehekara Horsemen, or actually just Skeleton Horsemen, are going to be falling back, and some regular Archers up here on the high ground. The Skeletons are going to be shooting into Throg here, so he does actually have 2 groups of Skeleton Archers, which probably should be shooting up against like Brutes of the Hound or Berserkers or things like that, but Throg is a good target as well. Oh, and a huge Burning Head coming in from Falcon with the Steel Chair in the back line. Those Tomb Guard getting roasted down to half health, so that is a value train. It also does go into the front line and spits on these Skeleton Warriors pretty good, so man, that Burning Head did some work. It does roast some of his own troops, but I still think it ended up being a bit of a positive trade. Now the Archers here are still doing some very good value here against Throg, getting him down to about 75% HP. In the back, the Horsemen here for Falcon are being chased off by Skeleton Horsemen, so this is a really good trade here for Zero. I think he's getting a pretty good little advantage here in this situation, keeping them away from the main battle. But now we have a monster fight. We do, of course, have the Camarine War Sphinx plus the other Tomb King with Tomb Strike active. And you know what? I feel like Falcon's forces here might be in a little bit of trouble once the Halberds get here. The Halberds saturating in combat against the Skeleton Warriors will be quite nice, and Throg is kind of getting taken to Pound Town. Scroll of Shielding has been used, plus a Cascading Fire Cloak to make him very tanky, and he gets a huge clubbing blow right there on top of the Tomb King, who he actually didn't overcast the Cursed Blade, so he doesn't have the bonus versus large right there. Anyway, some of the Horsemen in the back, oh, they were able to actually outmaneuver the Skeleton Horsemen, or maybe even take them out. And they have gotten onto some of the Archers, so these Skeleton Archers have been taken out here, and or not taken out, but at least jumped upon, so they're not going to be shooting. And Falcon is going to be pushing back in with those guys. Now, over here, you can see the Camarine War Sphinx with the Restore from the Necrotech is able to just bulldog down these Iceworm Marauders. And you know what? I think the Tomb Kings might be in a very advantageous situation here in this blob fight. I mean, Throg is pretty strong. He still does have the Miststalkers, but Halberds plus double Camarine War Sphinx is going to be pretty hard to deal with. Granted, this could change the dynamic of the situation as a Burning Head comes down and just roasts through those Halberds. Very, very good cast there. The Halberds were a little bit kind of mucked, like pushed tight into combat there. But that Burning Skull was still very, very strong and was able to get some work. So in the meantime, Zero is going to be getting in the back with his Tomb King and trying to snipe out the Bale Fiend, which is a very good choice. Getting rid of that fire is going to be crucial because there's still quite a few skeletons left. Over here we have some of these guys, and these Tomb Guard with Halberds are still fighting relatively effectively. So getting rid of that caster would be very, clutch. However, Falcon knows this, and he knows he needs that caster, so he's going to be getting Throg and the Familiar with Great Weapons. Yeah, so he's going to be going over here. Oh no, Falcon! Oh, he's forgot about the Frostworm the entire game. That's brutal. So, not a mistake you usually see from him, for sure. And I'm sure he'll be noticing this here in a second. But I mean, if Falcon had this Frostworm right here, for example, he would easily win this engagement. And the Frostworm would come in, and this Tomb King would just get frostbitten, pinned in place, and that would be, game blouses for that guy. But I mean, I guess Falcon wants to play with a handicap, and we'll see if he's able to win without it. It's still a very, very close fight. Balance of power is actually dead even, but not fighting you know, forgetting about 1,700 worth of resources, or 1,600 I think it is really brutal. But, I mean, Throg Daddy might still be able to do this. So the curse has gone down from the Tomb King here. The Tomb King here is going to be doing AoE damage to all these forces, but it's not going to be that bad. The worst thing for Throg is the fact that these Skeleton Archers and these Shopkeep Great Bows are just going to town on him and actually doing some really good damage. So Falcon finally realizes that the Frostworm was left in the back, and he's going to be getting a breath attack, it looks like. Thinking about it. Nope, he thought about it, and he pulled back. And Throg is actually broken, guys. Throg is broken off. He's terrified. Oh, man. He's going to be coming back, though. He's not actually truly broken. Nice little breath attack there from the Frostworm. But the Frostworm is probably going to go goon that Tomb King right there, I would imagine. Because Throg is, oh, man. He might be able to juke, but he's actually naturally broken right now. But the Frostworm coming back in is going to be a pretty big game changer. It's going to be able to probably finish this Cambrian War Sphinx, who's already surrounded by a bunch of Famir, which are a natural counter against constructs. Famir with great weapons are so good. And despite the fact they did get nerfed, they still do a ton of work. And also what Falcon can do is he can grab Throg. Once he does rally here, Throg probably will come back, and he can just sit in the trees and regenerate, because Throg, of course, being a troll, can heal, which I think would be pretty strong here. So yeah, you can see here the Frostbite coming in the late game. I don't think Falcon was leaving that back there on purpose. I don't think that was intentional, guys. So here you can see the Cambrian War Sphinx is going to be going down, and the Frostworm takes the beast down. Now the Frostworm is going to be jumping over here and probably going after the Tomb King, if I would... No, he's actually going to be going after the Halberds, which is not a bad idea. Though Halberds are a natural counter here, guys, if something is beat up and isolated, especially undead units that you can crumble, don't be afraid to just kind of bull rush them. So he's going to be going after the isolated Halberds here, and, you know, Throg will come back eventually, I would imagine. Is he stabilized yet? One leadership. And there's Throg. So what Falcon will do, if the game were to get very grindy and long, is leave Throg back there. He could heal himself back up to like 3,000 HP if he just sits in the forest, which makes, you know, a pretty big difference. So in the meantime, these Halberds are going to be crumbling here, -70, -80, and there they go, disintegrating. So at this point, Falcon's probably going to just ignore the Halberds, which would be the, you know, the right choice, and just go after the more isolated troops, like kill the Skeleton Warriors, get on the Archers back here. Just, you know, the Halberds are the one thing that's actually okay against what he has, so just ignore those guys, I would say. There's still a group of 70 Halberds back there. Man, that's kind of scary. So the Dragon's going to be jumping in. I think the Tomb King still have a Tomb Prince somewhere. Or a Cambrian War Sphinx. I could have sworn I saw it. Where'd that bad boy go? So the Shopkeep Great Bows are still here, which gives the Tomb Kings a fighting chance. For sure. Throwing axes are getting in there. They're out of ammo at this point, so probably just going to be using those bad boys to charge into the Skeleton Archers, which I think is going to be a good choice there. And you can see here the big old Frostworm is going to be lurking, looking for an opportunity to strike. Maybe going to be going after the Necrotect, who's probably out of heals. But where did that go? Nice little dodge there by Zero. He is able to mitigate most of that fire. But it looks like the Tomb Kings are going to get slapped with army losses. How did that Sphinx die? Where did it even go? Maybe you guys saw that. So, of course, guys, in my professional commentary analysis, I think that Falcon left the Dragon back in reserve to not only intimidate his opponent and lull him into a false sense of comfort there, but it was a tactical reserve, yes. So Falcon apparently doesn't need his Dragon to win. So Falcon with a 2-0 victory here. He's on the warpath, guys. He's looking to qualify for the grand finale. So he's going to be claiming that 2-0, and Falcon is going to be moving over to the grand finale. Let's go ahead and update the bracket. It's going to be Falcon versus Green. Let us go and do it. Do it to it. So well played there. Falcon will stay here. So let's go ahead and update the bracket. Green, if you're available, join up, brother. Flash tourney, battle scorecard. I love it. This is my favorite part because I don't have to change the scoreboard here. I could just do a simple, quick update. All right, so we had a couple donations there. We had one from Andrea Declarini. Thank you so much. ECL Season 3 is here, and thank you for your support. Glad you're enjoying the stream. And it is here, and it is here to stay. We're going to be doing it at least once a week, maybe twice, if we're feeling spicy. So thank you so much for that. Garland Green with 100 SEK, busy rating, but popping by to donate. Like, have fun. Thank you for the donation, man. Much appreciated. Anna's actually working on your clock right now. And Fladden111 is now a member here on the channel. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Enjoy your emojis and all that fun stuff. And we continue forth. Man. So Green should be joining up here in a second. He is ready. So, single bans here. Falcon pick and single ban. So in the best of 5 finals, I do a single ban instead. Because I think it's a little bit better. Because like if you just, yeah. I like that format. Although best of 7, I don't know. In best of 5, you could do double bans, but yeah, we'll see what he picks. But anyways, as far as the map goes, we'll go on Troll Country. The worm was staring angrily at the skeletons to lower morale. Correct. Yeah, Soothsayer will be playing in these as well. I'm sure he'll qualify. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of competition. So let's see what the guys pick. This is the finals. One second. All right. So here we go. So Falcon, is he going to be playing Norska once again? Yes, you are. Ken Gents, up to you guys. So yeah, they can gentleman's agreement. They can do whatever they want. McKenzie says, bit of a random question, but after watching Daw's most recent replay, I was curious about your opinion on new Pegasus Knights. Yeah, so Pegasus Knights in the most recent patch got Carol. No, this is my day job. I'm a full-time content creator, YouTuber. Pegasus Knights are quite a bit better, but again, I need to play with them more myself to give you a good opinion. I'd have to play against like someone, like Falcon or Arrow or these like, top level players, because that's the true test of units. If I go into ladder and beat someone who I'm already probably more, who I'm maybe more skilled than, then it's not really a good test. But if you're able to beat players who are better than you or equally skilled, I think that's a good test of the unit. But I think Pegasus Knights will be a lot better. One of their biggest issues was their kind of attack animation, like the way they piled in and kind of circled about. They didn't get those good charges, but they got a big buff, so they may be better now. Yeah. I smell a Dread Saurian. Javi, I don't know, man. The Dread Saurian's a risky pick here. Andrea, the World Tournament's going to be coming up probably at the end of the month. Yeah, the World Cup. I've gotten most of the teams together, but I just need to iron out a couple more details. Plus, like with this early, access going and all that stuff. I've wanted to focus on that. But the World Cup will be coming in the next month or two. 100%. Yeah, Bretonnia has some really good matchups for sure, but so many things have changed in this patch that I think it's going to be a while before the true metagame shows itself. So Falcon picks Lizardman and bans Skaven. Oh, and a dwarf pick from green. Interesting. Now, I'm quite eager to see this. I actually think that this matchup favors the Lizardmen, but we'll find out. We will find out. They need trebs and pegs to be better. Yeah, trebuchets. I know the Blessed Field trebuchets don't do what's it called? I think they got like a new thing where they don't do like friendly fire damage on their explosion. I think the impact still does friendly fire damage. Oh, it's going to be Vampire Coast. Okay. Now, you know what? Vampire Coast was widely considered to be like one of the best factions, but I think they've been hit with enough nerfs that they're like, I don't know. They're still really good because they're vampires and they have healing and really good characters like Luther Harkin, but I think Vampire Coast is much weaker. As a matter of fact, the deckhand mobs for Vampire Coast have lost like 600, 700 HP. So like those nerfs, like a lot of things like stack up. Yeah. So it's treason. We'll see. Time to satisfy some grudges? Well, not yet. No, Green's trying to decide who he wants to play, it looks like. He's switching between factions. So he's gone to Dark Elves now. Dark Elves have some really good tools here. Shades have good AP. Dark Riders have good AP. Their infantry are pretty durable for the cost. You can come in with like Black Guard and do like a Halberd build against the Dinos if you want. There's a number of ways Dark Elves can play this matchup. So he's going Dark Elves. Okay. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, that's what it is with the new trebuchets. The splash damage doesn't nuke its own troops, but the impact of the initial rock does. It kind of like defeats the point, I feel like it should have just been, that would have made Blessed Field trebuchets a little bit better. So if they did that with Blessed Field trebuchets, they make them ignore they make the Blessed Field Trebuchets ignore all friendly fire, and then they could actually like not be obstructed by your own troops. Like, so they'll just shoot anyways. That would actually make them a little bit better for sure. So Marcus's faction does not get unique units in multiplayer, and as a matter of fact, the characters he gets in his campaign are like just regular witch hunters and like things that they have unique campaign trees. But I mean, I guess you could, but no, he doesn't. That would be kind of neat though. I think having a Dwarven Lord and a Gyrocopter would be incredibly awesome, like an Engineer Lord. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions regarding like metagame or units like in between games, that's the best time to ask. 100%. But other Dwarf Lords are excellent now. You know, Dwarf Lords in general did get buffed across the board. They got cost reductions and mass increases on a couple of them, so they're better now. Foot Lords, obviously, getting cost reductions can only make them better. It's only a buff, but the Rune Lord isn't as much of like a guaranteed pick anymore. Like, one of the main reasons why the Rune Lord was such a powerhouse pick is because the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin actually did a metric ton of damage before. But now that Rune of Wrath and Ruin doesn't really do that much damage, it's more of a slowing effect. So honestly, I think it's better to just get a combat Dwarf Lord what's his name? I mean, just go really cheap with the Dwarf Lord if you want to and just get his items. Thorgrim is actually really good in a multitude of builds, and Grombrindle has AoE slows. Probably some of the weaker picks are still Belegar and Ungrim, but yeah, it depends. Like, Belegar can be okay against the Empire because of his shield and like sniping and things like that. Yeah, Dwarf Foot Lords are better than Nemund. Yeah, I mean, not much. They're not like game changers, but they're still better. Is there a place to find builds for each faction? I find it hard to build armies for online. So Satsubuya, I'm actually working on a website with Lady Turin, and we're making a website that's going to be like a complete Warhammer or Total War Warhammer website. It's going to have like builds, it'll have multiplayer and campaign guides, it's going to have tournament calendars, all kinds of stuff. So we're working on that. So when that comes out, you'll have access to all that stuff. Yeah, Zyphus is correct. Dread Saurian usually dies to missiles. You don't even need anti-large melee. Yeah, so Dread Saurian here just isn't a good pick. I mean, the way that you could make the Dread Saurian work is if you bring the Dread Saurian and then like the rest of your army is like skirmishing, kiting with like skinks and your own counter skirmishing. I don't know. It's still haggard though. I don't think it would be that great. If opponent doesn't bring heavy anti-large, is the Dread Saurian worth it? No, the thing is the missiles just punish him. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like honestly preferred the Rune of Wrath and Ruin before because the damage was really nice. But I mean, the slow, it just kind of changes the way dwarves play more than anything. I don't know which one is better objectively. I haven't played enough games to really tell you guys. Probably like 2 months for the website. Yeah. Well, Ann and I are really struggling to come up with a name. We've bought the hosting service. We found a template we like, a WordPress template that we're going to be working off of. But we're struggling with a name actually. I had a couple really haggard ones, but... Hey, Daniel from Italy. What's up? Yeah. If you know, Anna, the lovely Lady Turin's actually here in chat, so if you guys have any suggestions for the website name, please feel free to chat with her in there, and we're open to suggestions. I mean, a lot of them are already taken, like a lot of good names. Obviously, it is the internet, so... the ROR cap, I think, is probably the only cap that is unnecessary, because, like, I don't think spamming regiments for renown is broken. So I don't think that was necessary, but nonetheless, it's not a big deal either. I mean, 3 RORs, most people don't bring more than a couple, so it's not a big deal if they leave it. Yeah, no, I mean, but like, you know, it'll have like guides and things like that for campaign, and I probably won't write those, obviously. We'll hire someone to do that who has the expertise, but having multiplayer guides, and there'll be a big calendar on the main page which links to pretty much like any community tournament. So if anyone wants to join, like, they can just find a way to join those. Like, it's going to be like a hub. Total Turin hammer. Yeah, you see, I don't want to have my name in the website. That feels a little bit egotistical. Not only that, but it's like I want it to be like, in terms of like branding, I want it to be able to kind of branch out beyond just myself. Plan Hammer's not bad. But you see, I want it to be like something that, like, let's say like 7 years down the road, like, you know, I'm playing a different game. I want it to be something that's pertinent to that, but also like still encompasses Total War. So it's a little bit tricky in terms of branding, but yeah. Wookie Wiki. We'll see. Yeah, these are all good suggestions though, guys. And Anna will be taking note of some of them, I'm sure. Mads Bo Anderson, thank you. The super like. All right, guys, we're here. And the grand finals, Falcon coming in with the dinos against the Dark Elves, who looks like they have a ton of AP missiles. But guys, of course, Falcon, champion of the people, knowing he perhaps has a little bit more cushion here in a best of 5, is going to be bringing the Shredder of Lustria. The Dread Saurian Arwar hath come to the Troll Country to feast on some Dark Elves. So let's go ahead and take a look at his army. So he's got skink cohorts. He does also have chameleon skinks. He's got the Legion of Chaqua, which, for anyone who doesn't know, the Legion here, let's go ahead and take a look. It does give 44% ward save or missile resist to nearby units when it pops it. So basically, he's probably going to push in with the Dread Saurian and pop this and just try and tank things out. He does also have a life salon with regrowth, so it's not often that, you know, you see lizardmen healing it, you know, back in the day, right? But now they can. Yeah, the Saurian, it's here. Rise. So Coldwind Spear Riders in the back to kind of counter skirmish and play that game. Skinks and Coldwind Spear Riders. That's pretty much it. I mean, when you invest in the Shredder of Lustria, this thing's like a third of your army. So it literally costs, what, like 3,800, which is just obscene. This thing should not cost that much, but... Oh man, guys. Time to shred. And I mean, Green obviously has some pretty good counters. He's got AP missiles. He's got shades. Like all this AP action. He does also have anti-large Coldwind Knights. Malekith has good AP, can fight that thing. I'm a little bit concerned for Falcon's army, but I mean, if Falcon can win with this, I mean, he truly is the Dark Lord. In the back, Black Art of Nagaron stacked with spears, so a very defensive formation, which, you know, the Dread Saurian actually can cycle charge these things to relatively good effect. So I'm really curious to see how this goes. I don't know how Falcon's going to crack through those halberds. Plus, I mean, he does have banishment on the Slan, I guess, which is going to be useful, but man, the AP missiles are so good against the Dread Saurian. But he does have some counter skirmishing here. The Chameleon Skinks, if used effectively, can keep the Dark Riders away from the Dread Saurian. Oh my god, I can't believe he's bringing a Dread Saurian here. Falcon is inevitable. What is he, Thanos now? The Shredder? Oh my god, guys. So one website URL we did buy was steelchairesports.com, but like, I don't know, I feel like that's... I don't want to like pigeonhole myself in esports, you know? I don't know. Anyways, guys, something to think about. But again, thank you for the ideas, because we can watch the stream chat back also and look through these ideas later. So I appreciate all you guys leaving those. Plus in the comment section below if you guys want to after the fact. All right, so battle's underway. Green is going to be surging forward with his Dark Riders with the repeater crossbows. And trying to poke some of these guys, but the Skinks can easily screen them out. But, you know, the mere sight of the Shredder of Lustria, I'm sure instills terror in the forces of these Dark Elves, or in the hearts of the Dark Elves. 115 range on the Ballista on the back, the Howdah. 115 on the repeater crossbow, so arguably the Shredder can defend itself because it can shoot some poison. Oh, he might be able to get a little bit of a surround here if these Dark Riders keep going out of position, but yeah. See, this is what Falcon's going to do. He's going to get the Chameleons, he's going to march them ahead of the Shredder to make sure the Shredder takes no damage before the main fighting starts. Now, this also might be a bit of an issue here for the Dark Elves. If they decide to fight in the forest here, and the Shredder of Lustria is able to get in the tree line right here and like kind of hide there and mitigate the missile pressure, that could actually be really, really bad. Plus, like, healing on it, I mean, and, you know, Coldwind Knights kind of supporting it against the enemy Coldwind Knights. I don't know, or the Coldwind Spear Riders, I should say. It is a nice day for the ECL. And thank you guys so much for joining on the first qualifier. So Malik is going to be jumping in, maybe thinking about it, but he's going to be taking some skink darts to the face. And now, you know, Falcon with very good screening is forcing Green into a bit of a corner here, and he's not taking any skirmishing damage. He is in very, very good shape here. The Shredder of Lustria happily cackles, and yeah, he's going to be charging in here, I would imagine. Shades will really do a ton of damage. Shades are going to be super solid here. So what Falcon needs to do is he needs to get the Coldwind Spear Riders up and occupy the Coldwind Knights of Green. And then from there, he could basically just charge the Dread Saurian into the Shades or whatever other target he wants to. So far, the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows have been screened pretty much into irrelevance. They're over here on the far side. They're not really able to get a good angle. And that's probably what Falcon wants, because now the Shredder of Lustria can simply go over here. And now you can see there are some repeater shots coming into the Coldwind Spear Riders. Very, very good value there by Green. He's able to get a good value shot and kind of pepper down those Coldwind Spear Riders. The Life Salon is now here. And he's going to be using an Earthblood, actually. Interesting. So he's going to be using that right away to kind of top off those Spear Riders. And I'm really curious. Like, I feel like we should just watch the Shredder of Lustria. This is the first game of the finals, correct? Stone Cold Steve Turin. That's pretty good. I like that. So here, the Shredder of Lustria lurks. He's waiting to engage. The Legion of Chaqua is going to be going in, absorbing the initial shot of the Shades, which they're more than happy to do with their shields, I would imagine. And here, Malekith does get a breath attack on the Skink, so getting rid of the Skinks does help in the counter-skirmishing game, but now the Shredder of Lustria cometh, and he comes to claim the soul of his enemies here. So Green does take a 2v1 engagement here. Now his Cold One Knights, will be able to hold back this tide, but Falcon will eventually win this fight considering the numbers game. And this is a bit of an issue because the Shredder of Lustria is probably just going to go butter the bread of these Shades. Oh, and the Shield of Chaqua has been popped, so he's got 44% missile save, and oh, Big Papa's back here, and he's going to be feasting on these Shades, and they're taking a ton of damage. The Shades have already lost 15 models here. So over here, Shield of the Old Ones is going to be going down. Earthblood also casts over here, and this is the problem. There's no Cold One Knights or anything to stop the Shredder. And the Shredder, yeah, halberds can do damage to it, but the Shredder isn't going to sit still and let that happen. Oh, and now it's going to be coming in for the rear charge to support this engagement, and these Cold One Knights are in such trouble as the Shredder of Lustria hits like an absolute truck. So he gets in here, look at that damage. Just terrifies those guys. And the other Cold One Knights here are just getting shreked by the Shredder of Lustria. Beautiful banishment coming down from the Life Salon, is able to go through the spheres, just doing the work of the Old Ones, I should say. And yeah, the entire Dark Elf Force here just gets buckled. Oh, Malekith, you're in the wrong neighborhood. The Shredder of Lustria sees you, he wants you, and he could potentially be coming in to do a bunch of damage. So the Lizard Cab are going to be chasing off the Dark Elf Cab. The Shades are coming in to try and get in position against the Shredder of Lustria, but I don't think they're going to be able to because there's a bunch of Cold One Riders here with the Aura Pretzel, giving them armor and melee defense. Earthblood's coming down. Malekith is being feasted on by the Shredder of Lustria. So much damage coming in. The Life Salon as well providing his healing to this battle, which is going to make it all that much harder to take out the Shredder of Lustria. Now, if you're able to take out the Shades and the Cold One Knights and, of course, Malekith, I don't think the Halberds, even in a vacuum, could take out the Shredder because they could cycle charge them. And Halberds would have to chase, and they really, are more functional in sustained combat, which it's still helpful against the large threats, but it's going to be hard. Now, the bounce power is actually really even. It's like dead even. I'm surprised because I think the Lizards have gotten most of the better engagements, but of course, Malekith is still in good shape, and if he heals up with Soul Stealer, which it looks like he's going to be doing right here, I think Soul Stealer has gone down, so Malekith is going to be healing. If you look at his HP, he's going up rather quickly. With the Shades being in melee combat, certainly not a good situation, but the Dark Elves do have a fair amount of infantry left. Dreadspears here, Blackguard coming in, and I know there's another banishment there on the Salon. Oh, very, very good snipe there from Green. He knows that if he can kill the Life Salon, the Shredder of Lustria will be exponentially more vulnerable here, but the Shredder of Lustria are probably going to be turning and trying to push in. You can see it's having some mass problems trying to get through there. I feel like it should have way more mass like this thing. But it gets in there. Shield of the Old Ones is going to be going down, providing a much-needed ward save to that entire Dino army. But the Blackguard in here are actually cleaning up the Lizard Cav. So the Cold One Spear Riders are actually in a relatively dire situation, being forced off the map because they're trying to stay and anchor on the Shredder of Lustria. So the Life Salon's going to be going in, attacking Malekith as well. Shredder of Lustria is just kind of tanking here, but this is not good at all. Oh man, there's actually repeater crossbows in the back shooting at the Shredder. Malekith is also chewing on the Salon. I mean, the Salon does not want to be here. I think that Falcon needs to get away from this blob. He needs to get the Life Salon away, try and pull it back, because the Shredder of Lustria seems to be having some issues getting on the target it wants to be getting on. The Bounce Fire is actually going in the favor of the Dark Elves for the first time here in this battle, and here you see the Cold One Spear Riders are able to charge into the back there. Dread Spears are terrified off, which is going to be very helpful. And Aura Pretzel, another Soul Stealer going down. The Shredder of Lustria is steady. There needs to be a regrowth or some fat healing on this thing. A big old banishment coming in, but it does kind of rotate the wrong way, away from those guys. So that's a very, very good situation for Green. So Falcon's going to be coming in with the Salon Mage Priest of Life. Breath attack coming in from Malekith. It does miss because the Shredder was able to move. And Falcon needs to keep this guy, fighting. If he runs right here, I think that's going to be instantly game. But this is the chance for Falcon to come back. If the Shredder of Lustria is actually able to beat down Malekith, that could be a situation that would get him back in this game here. Because the Blackguard, are beat up, but they're still a factor. And the Shredder is having to stay and fight. I mean, Falcon could also kite with the Shredder if he wants to. It does have that Howdah on its back and can do some decent missile damage. But I think the Salon is also, can't really kite. So he kind of has to commit to this fight here. Shades are being attacked by Skinks, which is pretty good. Shades have light armor themselves, so even these little skink bastards can do some pretty good damage there. And if the Shredder breaks, it's pretty much over, I think. Yeah, I mean, because it's just going to run right off the map, I would imagine. And it's a Life Salon versus Malekith at this point, so it's a bold move by Falcon, but the Shredder of Lustria is actually quite terrible. So the fact that he was able to do this well with this thing is quite an accomplishment. And Malekith is easily going to be able to clean up shop at this point. He almost had that game. But Green remained calm. He got everything back online, and the Soul Stealers plus Malekith's punch was able to do a ton of work. Yeah, the beast has fallen this day, but you got to give him props for trying that in the finals of the tournament, which I'm sure he wants to qualify, but from here on out, I'm sure he's not going to be holding any punches. So Green here, claiming first blood here in the finals, very well played to him. He was able to get those halberds in there, and the thing is, the Salon was so engaged in melee combat that Falcon couldn't like kite back. He had to stay in the fight, which made the halberds all the much better because then the halberds didn't have to chase and get cycle charged. They were able to just sit and do their job. So green was able to do a really good job with that. So well played to him. And now we're going to be jumping to game 2 here. The Dread Saurian attempted to claim a victory, the Arwar, which literally cost like a substantial portion of the army. Let us go to... There's that really cool Albion map, which I guess we have plenty of games here, so we'll do Schwarzhofen. GG. Well played to those two fine players there. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here in chat. And we're all good, my friends. We're all caught up. Thank you guys for joining on this Friday afternoon. It's 1 p.m. here in California. I think it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. in the UK, 10 p.m. in Central Europe, and getting a little bit late over there in the East and Asia, and I'm not sure what time it is there. I don't know the conversions off the top of my head. New Zealand, I know it's like the morning. Australia, all that stuff. Yeah, the Dread Saurian has some huge issues with mass. You guys probably saw that Falcon like couldn't push the Dread Saurian through like a couple cav units. It kept like awkwardly setter stepping, which is a huge problem. Calvin, I think that Lizardmen are actually one of the strongest factions in the entire game. But obviously, he brought a Dread Saurian, the Arwar especially, which is an overpriced, terrible unit. So the Dread Saurian's just so bad. Yeah, Lizardmen are like a top tier faction, 100%. So green claiming first blood here. It is best of 5, so if a player wanted to sweep the series, they would have to win 3 in a row. So I have a feeling we're going to be getting a back and forth series here, which is quite good. 4 a.m. in China, says Michael. Ooh, goodness gracious, man. It's pretty hot right now. It's heating up. The past couple days have been quite nice, actually. We've had some pretty good weather, but today seems to be getting back to the usual summer misery. What's up, Lucas? Oh man, lizards and elves, almost always on top. Yeah, elves are very good factions, absolutely. I mean, they certainly have a pretty high skill cap. It's like playing Zerg in StarCraft, like a lot of potential, but very difficult to play, I think, because elves are very squishy, right, for the most part. So that is a factor you have to take into account here. 1 second, guys. I like that, Misha. That's pretty good if that's available. That name you sent me. All right. So Falcon's going to be going with Wood Elves, which is one of his better factions. It is going to be his Wood Elves facing off against Green Skaven. All right, this is going to be fun. And Simon Benjamin, thank you for the 10. Much appreciated, man. He says, great content as always. Stoked for the website. The website shall be good. It's going to be a culmination of many efforts. But yeah, kind of the vision for the website is we have a calendar for community events and tournaments for, you know, all creators. If they want to list it on there, of course, it's up to them. On top of that, we're going to be having guides for multiplayer, probably like build guides. I'll probably like, you know, do a video and then have like a list version that you could just go to if you're looking for a build in multiplayer. Yeah, all kinds of stuff, lore stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All kinds of stuff should be going on. Painting some adorable salamander centurions while watching your stream. Nice, Gimli. Yeah, Salamander's getting all those rerolls in 40k is quite nice. Want to see the new buffed trees? You know, I didn't really take note of the Wood Elf changes that much. I know that there's like huge Vanguard potential, like Mel Gibson. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus now have anti-large. Mel Gibson can Vanguard deploy. There's a couple like big things, and honestly, I think we might see that from Falcon because Orion actually is a good pick against Skaven. I think he's pretty good. He's fast. He causes terror. He's very tough to snipe because of his Cloak of Esha. I think that could be good. What is the best unit of this DLC for both factions? For the Empire, Marcus is obviously the better Lord choice, but I mean, there's only 2, so I'm just going to say units. The best unit, not character or hero, is the Huntsman for the Empire, and I think the best one for the Lizardmen is probably going to be the Dread Saurians suck, Razordon suck, so it has to be the Sacred Croc scores, which are actually playable. They're still not great, but they're playable. There are going to be competitive player rankings. Yeah, I'm trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun, that website. Yeah. You know, Falcon loves his Wild Rider rushes with the Helm of Discord. I wonder if he's going to do that. That's pretty strong. Granted, it is kind of overkill for Skaven. You don't really need the Helm of Discord to punish their stuff. So, I don't know. I think Falcon might go with like a Orion Blitz. That could be really fun to see. And actually strong. Mel Gibson, my apologies. Yeah, I get really depressed whenever I get super hyped about my Empire campaign, and then I go to my local Games Workshop and I see the shelf stocked with Age of Sigmar. I shed a single tear. Like, oh man. But anyways, I will be playing Age of Sigmar sometime in the next year or two, but I'm going to be playing it on my terms. So I'm going to be getting an Empire army, and because you can still play them. It just counts as like the free guild or something stupid like that. But I'm going to get an Empire army and have it commissioned to be painted as like Karl Franz's boys, and you know. I'm literally going to go in there and just be like, call him Karl Franz. It's going to happen. It's going to be great. Marcus, I don't think Marcus is OP. I think he's very good. You know, some people feel that. It's harder than you think to get those abilities off sometimes. But, I mean, Marcus is very competitive, but I don't think he's overpowered. Like, I would be a little bit sad to see him nerfed. I know the Steel Chair Esports thing, Jason, is pretty good. Turin still got spots open for the qualifier. Yeah, Flying Bread, 100%. Absolutely. Total website, too. Hey, Sotek, what's up, man? Welcome, brother. Hope your tabletop tournament went well. We're here in the grand finals. My apologies for having to stream at the same time, but I can't stream it all for the next, like, 3 or 4 days, so I had to just get this in today. Hope your stream went well, my friend. And I was actually just talking about a website, which I would love to hire you, Lore Master of Sotek, to write guides for campaign stuff, if you're interested, because Sotek is by far one of the best campaign players out there. What do you think from the multiplayer standpoint is the strongest unit in the game? Oh, Calvin, that's a hard question. I don't think that's a question you can answer just like... Yeah, no, there's no way to answer that really, because like it's so situational. I mean, the best, like one unit that's always good. I'd have to think about that. All right, guys, here we are in the grand finals. Game 2, Falcon is down a game. His Dread Saurian Gambit did not work out, and now we're going to be going in with Orion. So, man, we are getting the Orion Vanguard. It looks like Falcon's going to be coming in for a very aggressive blitz. So Dryads and Vanguard. Dryads are very good against Skaven. They beat pretty much all the Skaven infantry with the exception, of course, of Stormvermin and things like that. But they beat Clan Rats. They can just cleave through Skaven slaves. I don't know how they trade actually with Plague Monks. I think it's a pretty even trade, but they do have the magic damage to circumvent the physical resist of those guys, which is quite good. And they also have physical resist themselves. So Dryads are a very, very good choice. So it's going to be Mel Gibson, Dryad, Vanguard. We have a Branch Wraith as well, who does have Vanguard. And it looks like it's going to be Wild Riders and Glade Riders, just pretty much across the board. So very simple army. Mel Gibson's Wrath is going to be coming hard for these Skaven, but is it going to be up to the task? We'll find out. So, for the forces of the Skaven, it looks like we have Lord Skrulk on foot. Obviously the common pick here because he does have his items. And, yeah, should be good. We got Wheels of Doom. The Arwar wheel in the back is going to be quite good here against the Dryads and troops like that. Of course, it does have magic damage itself to circumvent the Dryad physical resist. Aside from that, he's got a couple groups of Clan Rats, so his infantry should get Shrek'd pretty good. But the Skirmishing Corps, if supported with like some spears and things like that, could be, you know, solid. But Falcon more than has enough to kind of chase these guys down. He does have the Warplock Jezzails and Warplock Jezzail, so not investing in the ROR, which I think is maybe a bit of a mistake, but nonetheless, maybe he was just tight on funds. But his troop quality is quite poor. It's mostly Clan Rats and things like that. And yeah, looks like Gutter Runners with Poison will be good at, you know, kind of counter skirmishing against Glade Riders. Granted, the Glade Riders have far more range, so yeah, there's some give and take there. But these guys are little bastards for sure. Their initial poke actually could be quite good against Dryads. And I think that Green probably knows that the Orion Vanguard might be coming, since it is something that seems to be pretty popular right now. So, hard to say what'll happen. Jonathan Anton Ager, a little bit for the great entertainment. Thank you, man. Every bit counts, so I do appreciate that quite a bit. Where's your Deepwood Scouts? They're not here. They're not here, Arrow. It's going to be a Mel Gibson Vanguard. Yeah. Turin, can you confirm, please, that my army is tourney legal? Okay. So he's got 3 of those. He's got 1 single entity. How many Clan Rats does he have? 1, 2. With shields, he does have different variants, so... Seems fine. I don't think there's anything here. Yeah. No, his army's legal. He's got 2 Jezzails, single entities. He's not breaking the rule, single entity rule. He has 3 of these. As far as Clan Rats, he does have different variants, so he's completely fine there. He's got Clan Rats with spears. Gutter Runners with poison. I think he has 5 of those. I think that's the most you can have. Yeah, I think he's okay. It's... Oh. Oh, okay. Max... So you have 6? Well, it's up to Falcon. If he has 1 extra Gutter Runner, I'm not really going to care that much. Because that's honestly something Falcon... I see 5, and I think you're allowed to have 5. Where's his other one? But Falcon doesn't seem to care, obviously. Because he's probably happy that he can chase those guys down. Okay, so 1 Gutter Runner with poison, 2 over there, and it looks like 3 here. He has 5. I don't see the 6th one. That would be breaking the rule. Falcon says, good luck, have fun. He doesn't care. Shields count as the same, does Aristodemus? Do they now? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4... And then these are spears back here. So yeah, he's fine. He has 4 clan rats, Skaven slaves up in the front. And he has 3, 5. I only see 5 Gutter Runners. I'm not seeing the 6th one he was worried about. I think so. I don't have the rules in front of me, so. So we play the rules under King's Cup tournaments typically, or King's Cup rules, so they have limitations on army sizes. Nope, I think we're good. All is well in the realm. Stretch out those shoulders, which are getting a little bit tense as we get into the later hours here. He says, let's go, champ. Unfortunately, the Mel Gibson Vanguard is horribly out of position. The Skaven just deployed on the other side. But, I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Falcon has such like heavy mobility in his army that he's going to be able to swarm over here very quickly. And honestly, the Skaven have to relocate as well, because you can see the Jezzails actually may have some line of sight issues. They need to kind of get up on this hill here. So Dryads are going to be coming in. Yeah, max on Gutter Runners says 5, so we're good then. Yeah, no rules are broken. Crisis averted. So the Gutter Runners are going to be coming up to skirmish. Falcon could sweep up and around here with this army and maybe sneak up on the back of those guys, but yeah, good armies from both players. I think both of them certainly have the tools to win this. Mel Gibson's going to be taking the wide circuitous route here. He's going to be going up in the hills and pressuring. Look at him just running with glorious Orion, just such a beast. So Orion's quite scary, guys. He can skewer rats if he gets his paws in him. And Orion is actually a good counter against that Doom Wheel. He's fast, he has anti-large, heavy AP, so he could potentially Shrek that Doom Wheel very, very well if he's able to get on top of it. So he is going to be hiding in the hill here, trying to minimize the Jezzail fire, but it looks like both players are basically deciding to just switch sides with one another, which is quite funny. He's like, you know what, Skaven, you guys want to go deploy in our old zone, and I'll take yours, and we'll have a nice gentleman's agreement. But it looks like Falcon is going to be getting his main battle line here, the Dryads. But Dryads will take some damage from Gutter Runners, for sure. Yeah, but as long as Mel Gibson's nearby, the Doom Wheel should be kind of fended off for now. That is a lot of rats, guys. And remember, green is up a game. And if he's able to get the advantageous position and take this game, that could be quite substantial in a best-of-5 series. It could be. What's up, Gojira? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the new caps on quick battles I think is amazing. Like, even though it does differ from, you know, there's like certain things. Like, for example, in the ladder you could still bring 2 casters and bring 2 spirit leeches, whereas King's Cup rules you can't do things like that. But I think it's still huge for ladder, because there were some really oppressive playstyles that were present on ladder that I think made it very unfun for newer players. But now ladder's, it's pretty controlled. Like, you can still see some degenerate builds, but like it really puts a heavy limitation on that. I think multiplayer is going to be in exponentially better place. So the Wild Riders kind of, aren't able to get any fancy jumps or anything like that, but I think Falcon is going to be hammering in with these guys, probably doing an aggressive jump on the Jezzails here. And this is really bad for green, actually, because the Jezzails, like, kind of overextended forward trying to get line of sight, and now they're having to fall back instead of shooting right now. Shooting, obviously, would be the ideal situation. Dryads and Mel Gibson are going to be surging forward, the Wheels of Doom looking for a place to go where Mel Gibson isn't. And the first Wild Riders are going to be falling back. So maybe just going to be waiting for the Dryads to come in, but Orion, the Herald of the Wild Hunt, is going to be charging in, and it looks like a fat pendulum's going to be going down. Oh, nice pendulum right there. Hits Clan Rats, hits Jezzails, also goes a little bit up into the Clan Rats on the high ground. And oh, the Bull Rush! Falcon coming right down the center with the Wild Riders getting a huge charge into the Clan Rats, and Skrulk squealing with fear as those Wild Riders get in there, led by Mel Gibson himself. The Horn of the Wild Hunt has not been sounded yet. Falcon does have it, but yeah, it looks like the Jezzails here just get completely crumped, and those Clan Rats get crumped as well, and Orion is coming for that booty. So the Lord Skrulk certainly in a bad situation here. As you can see, oh, Big Pop is coming. And the Wheel of Doom running interference, but Orion's still coming. Oh man, Skrulk is in the wrong neighborhood. So the Dryads have engaged in the front line. Some of them on the flank. Green is doing a really good job here, isolating and picking apart those Dryads. But the Horn of the Wild Hunt has been sounded. The Giselle core, for the most part, has been taken out, and Falcon is actually going to be charging in with the Glade Riders as well, using them as kind of a shot cav unit, which is very interesting. However, they have a charge bonus of 37 right now, which is no joke. Now Orion here in the pits is going to be fighting. It looks like he is able to push back the clan rats and terrify some of those guys, but he certainly needs to push in and get on some of those better targets. Up here, this entire flank for the Skaven has pretty much been compromised, but again, Green has compromised this Wood Elf flank as well, so both players trading flanks very effectively. Orion looks like he's on the hunt, coming after the Giselles. I think Falcon knows that if he can actually push off and kill the Giselles, he's pretty much going to have mobile dominance. Yes, this Skaven have gutter runners and things like that, but that's really taking away that long-range firepower that can punish his mobility. Orion's going to be coming in, attacking the Wheels of Doom here. The Wheels of Doom, of course, large and armored. That's Orion's forte. So he's going to be coming in to skewer the beast here, and he's getting a ton of damage on the Wheels of Doom. So you can see the Wheels in a little bit of trouble, but balance of power actually is pretty damn even. If anything, maybe a little bit in the favor of the Skaven, believe it or not. So Orion's on the hunt. Foe Seeker has been activated, and he's going to be hunting down the Wheels of Doom. Here he comes. He's punting rats as he chases it, the classic Orion rat punt. And the Branch Wraith and company here are fighting with some Dryads, but the Skaven actually able to hold pretty well, using Lord Skrolk in the front line with his Contaminate to really do a lot of work. So Falcon still has his Skirmishing Core intact. He has the Glade Riders, but Green also has his. Green has all of his Gutter Runners kind of lurking over here, but Falcon knows this is a threat, so he's getting his Wild Riders. And again, he's trying to take out all the mobility and all the range pressure of Green, so then he could pretty much just cycle charge into Oblivion. Now, where is Mel Gibson? He's lurking somewhere in here. There he is. So it looks like he was able to get some work on the Wheels of Doom. And he hasn't really taken too much damage, and he does actually cause terror as well. So Mel Gibson can terrify a lot of these kind of low-tier Skaven troops. And the Gutter Runners are being hunted on many aspects of the map. So these Gutter Runners are shaken. Wild Riders should be able to kill them. Dryads chasing here. Wild Riders should be able to get these guys and finish them off, assuming they can catch them, which they should. So now Falcon is pulling ahead on the Bounce of Power, as he is very aggressively hunting down all of these filthy Skaven troops. So the Wheels of Doom are doing a really good job, though, just kind of running interference out here, picking off the Dryads, freeing up these Gutter Runners, which is a very good play. But the Wild Hunter, Orion's coming in. He's going to be charging. Do I have the names backwards? Hopefully not. That would be pretty obnoxious. But Orion's going to be coming in, hunting down the Wheels of Doom. Falcon's Orion chasing down Green's Wheel of Doom here. And the Wood Elves are still pursuing, but these little rat boys are fleeing quite effectively. But I think Falcon knows he's got that. The Bloodhound has scent here, and you can see the Wild Riders are going to be chasing down Gutter Runners here. These other ones are going to get pincered by these two groups. So that's the mobility gone. Granted, Green still has Skrolk. He still has a bunch of clan rats. He has a lot of meat left. So eventually Falcon will have to come in and fight it, but I don't think that's going to be an issue for him, because I think Orion is just going to come in and just terror out and kind of bust things up. You got a lot of rats running for sure. So Orion does have a 54 speed, correct. He is actually faster than the wagon. There was somebody in chat asking about that. But Orion's hunting down the wheel, and the wheel's actually faster than him, but it looks like he's going to come in. Oh, is he going to get the attack? And it looks like he might get this 1800 HP. It looks like Orion does miss that attack, but he should be getting this next one here. It's very hard to knock over Orion. He is super meaty. So 400 HP coming off the Wheel of Doom right there. And it looks like he's really just out for blood chasing this thing down. Now, Orion could turn and throw javelins at this thing, but I think just kind of chasing it is probably the ideal play. However, if I were Falcon right now, maybe... And, I'm nowhere near as good as he is, but maybe I would grab Orion and maybe chase down Skrolk, because he wouldn't be able to get away. Like, the Wheel of Doom, if microed effectively, shouldn't get caught by Orion. So, just something to think about. Over here, you can see the Branch Wraith is going to be getting chased off for Falcon, so very good kind of a retort here from Green. He is able to break off that caster, but the Wild Riders are pretty much just cleaning up shop across the map, and there's still a ton of missile play left for Falcon. He has a lot of these different troops here, like the Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips, who are going to be able to kite the Skaven army now that the mobility has been removed. So some of the Wild Riders are able to pin in the Wheel of Doom. It's actually wavering right now, and big boss Mel Gibson coming in with the Spear of the Gods, and his mere presence detonates the foul Skaven contraption, and the Wild Riders are going to be falling back. So at this point, I just don't think the Skaven have the tools to do it. They have a little bit of a core here, but like I said, Orion could probably solo most of this army. Maybe not all of it, but he could easily come in and kill Skrolk just with aggressive, spam targeting. And from here, the rest of the Skaven army is probably going to get picked apart by the mobility of the Wood Elves. So here, the Wild Riders are going to be surging down the hill, getting a huge charge into the Gutter Runners with Poison. Very, very valued target right there. Getting rid of mobility, like I said, is his mission right now. If he does that, he pretty much can just cycle charge and just feast on the souls of the rats. Also, mind you guys, Orion has a ton of ammo. Oh, and he's throwing the spears, and it's just pegging Skrolk in the face. That's the thing. The Skaven have no way of hunting Orion now, so he's going to be able to just sit and throw his javelins at Skrolk until he's pretty much dead at this point, because he has full ammo, so I don't see there being any kind of answer for that. Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips from Falcon going to continue kiting here. Why do these rats have why are they glowing? Are they summoned? Oh, they're summoned rats. Okay, I was like, why are they glowing red? They look so cool. So Ryan's going to be charging in, but Green knows it's over at this point. Big Papa Mel Gibson tying up the series 1-1, coming in with the the Horn of the Wild Hunt. Orion is such a cool character. Look at him. Look at him. just hunting those rats. But I have to say, Green's build was quite good. I think if the Giselles had been able to get a little bit more value, he might have been able to win that game, and he played well. Just a couple laps of positioning on the Warplock Giselles, and I think against Wood Elves you need some mass, like maybe like 1 or 2 Rat Ogres just to keep them from busting through your front lines like that. I think that would be pretty helpful, but nonetheless, it was a great game. Both players played very, very well, and it was a very fun one to watch. So that's going to be 1-1 here in the finals in this best of 5. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's change the map. I should just pick some like... So let's do Alpine Ridge. Alpine Ridge is a really fun map. Oh yeah, Turin. Today's winner of the tabletop tournament was a dang Beastman army, led by a generic Beast Lord. Who won it? Who was the madman to pilot such an army? What's up, Hero of Rome? Mel Gibson with the wooden chair. Turin has never experienced 120 speed Orion in campaign. I have not. That sounds terrifying. So we got a donation coming in from Balbach, CZK6969. What about a cackling necromancer.com? You know, that would be fun, but it's just so out there that like people wouldn't just discover my website in Google. So it kind of needs to have, yeah. Thank you for the donation. A very solid one right there. Thank you, man. Cackling. Maybe there will be a page on the website about like cackling necromancers, but well, we'll have to see. All right. Peanut Butter Special was today's winner. Nice. A new face. A new champion arises. The dreaded Wood Elf Rush. Well, Falcon's definitely the master of that. Like, he loves that Wood Elf Rush. So he's going to be playing Avalorn here. Was his pick. I pick Avalorn and he bans Bretonnia. And we'll see what Green picks here. Anna, that's pretty funny. I kind of read that too at first when he typed that. 1,300 people here. Quite a day, my friends. Green is going to be coming in with the dinos. Will Green be so bold as to bring the Dreadsaurian? Probably not. Because Falcon's probably going to have Sisters of Avalorn and dragons and things like that. So, what are the odds of Falcon taking it in a second match? I don't know. He's really good at Avalorn for sure. So, but Green is obviously a very good player as well. So, oh, the Empire! A bastion of hope. So suddenly Green is like, you know what? It seems like chat is like, you know, on the side of the Dreadsaurian guy. So I'm going to play the Empire and bring it back to me. Or Norska. Norska, perhaps. He's cycling between factions. Number 1. I would love to send more, but I'm damn poor. Please, man. Please. It's the gesture, man. Show Turin some love. Thank you so much for your donation, man. I do appreciate that. And here we go. We ride forth into Game 3 in this best of 5 final. Odds of Alariel, probably like 90%. Alariel's going to be the pick. It's just so good. Like with Dragon Princes and other things like that. And single entities too. Like if you have a Star Dragon or a Frostheart Phoenix or anything like that. Or Flamespire Phoenix. Like it's just too good not to bring. I've heard wearing cotton socks is a bold move. I wear cotton socks. Usually. I don't wear like... I don't know. Alright, Gojira. Sounds like a plan. The wagons call. No, he's not playing Empire. Yeah, it looks like he's switched to Lizardman, which is fine. Maybe we're going to get to see some new stuff here. Snuffleupagus, thank you. It's pizza time. Smash that like button. Thank you for the 750, man. You're always a patriot, you and your 750 Canadian. Fly on Bread, thank you for the 5 as well. Just a thanks for what you're doing. How's World Cup prep? It's coming along good. The teams are pretty much finalized. Again, I just want to get ECL started, get through the early access stuff, and iron out a couple other things with my channel. Because like now I'm juggling a couple projects. ECL, daily videos, we have the website coming, and then World Cup. So I'm trying to like just... there is a small chance I may postpone the World Cup, because I want it to be like representative of the year, and it's going to take more than a couple months. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it right now, but it'll be happening in the next couple months for sure. So I wear socks and sandals for sure. 100%. I go deep on the socks and sandals, guys. Thank you for becoming a member, the Sullied. You and your Panda Bear are most certainly welcome here. So thank you so much for becoming a member on the channel. And I got to update the emojis for sure. I always wear socks and sandals though, and it just repulses Anna. But I don't know. There's something comfy about it. Because it's like, if you wear socks and sandals, you could just like switch into sneakers real quick. You're like, oh, you know, I got to do something. Let's just, you know, get in there, slip in those shoes, and you're good to go. If I were a burger, I'd 100% be a burger with like a fried egg. Like burgers with eggs are like the most delicious thing on the planet. New set of Magic the Gathering coming as well. I'm very excited for that. Looks like they might have a question here. Cool. They're just declaring their races. Falcon's probably going to come with, I don't know, you know, he can't pick Teclis here because of the Avalorn pick. So, I mean, Teclis with Sisters can be a pretty good combo because you net down the big targets and just focus them, but I have a feeling Green's going to go pretty wide. Obviously, he's a pretty savvy tournament guy, so it seems like he's going to be aware of that. Hey, the Darth, glad you could make it. I'm very hyped for the Go Chuck and Felix, yeah. I'm so excited, and plus I think in the blog they said they're going to be in multiplayer, which is going to be great. They're probably going to be heroes available to Dwarves, Empire, and Bretonnia, I would imagine, in multiplayer. If I could pick 4 new factions for Warhammer 3, I'd probably pick Kislev, Chaos Demons, Chaos Dwarves, and Ogres, I think. But Chaos Demons, I don't know how they're going to do that. Martin Kildemos, thank you so much for the 20 DKK. One time here seems like good fun. It is. We're having a good time here. Players are picking their factions here for the finals. You know, so that there's kind of an evolution to the socks and sandals. Like tier 1 is like just going like there's 2 tiers. There's the standard sock and sandal, right? You have like just your sandals, your socks. You know, how the socks are bunched, however. Tier 2, there's 3 tiers. Tier 2 of the socks is having socks and sandals, but the socks are pulled up all the way, like as high as up as they can go on your leg. But Tier 3, Dov Plays just illustrated. Tier 3 is wearing Crocs, wearing the Crocs and sandals. That is like next level. Like that's game over. You can't win after that. The Sully, new account, but my old one lurked on your content for years. Keep up the great work. Thank you, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. It's only good to keep going. Yeah, did I say Chaos Dwarves? I should have said Chaos Dwarves. I really do want Chaos Dwarves. Okay, so if I were to change the DLC units, the Huntsmen are fine. Wagons. So the Huntsmen are fine. I wouldn't change them. For the wagons, I would either lower the cost of the standard wagons to 700. Or I would leave them as they are and raise their damage, because their damage, like one of the two needs to be better. The mortar wagons just need a massive cost reduction down to like 900 because they're just terrible. Like if they're 300 more than regular mortars, maybe they could be justified, but even still, they're just super bad. The Hellblaster RR one is fine. Don't need to change that. For Lizardman, the Dread Saurian just needs, you need to fix its mass so it can push through things and get to the target it wants to, because it literally gets stuck on like small cav units, and how big it is, it shouldn't happen. And also the Dread Saurian on each variant. The Pharaoh one, you could probably honestly take like 200 or 300 off each of those, and that would be fine. And then for the Sacred Crocsgores, I don't think you need to change them too much. I think they're quite nice. So yeah, that'd be my 2 cents. Ian, chicken, burger, pineapple, fried egg, beetroot. That sounds pretty good actually. Hawaiian's like pineapple's like that Hawaiian style. Thanks, Turin, for all your hard work. That's what she said. Ian, thank you, man. Thank you for your donation. You guys are pouring it on. Thank you so much for the generosity. The Atomic Teabag 2 Devil? Oh god, I can't name my website that. Falcon really thinking about this pick here. He must have some elaborate scheme for green. So it looks like they're saying something in chat. He's just saying ready. I spent too much and unready to. Oh, okay. Hopefully he's watching. We'll find out. Yeah, Orc Cavalry in general does suck. But Forest Goblin Spider Riders are a very cost-effective unit. And, Orcs have pretty good infantry. And surprisingly decent missile play, actually. I mean, I don't think you need to buff Orc Cav. Orc Cavalry should lose to other factions. They're literally, just these unarmored orcs riding pigs. They need to have a weakness. But, I don't know, Greenskins are a strong faction. I'm one of the bigger issues with them is Lord sniping, getting their Lord sniped. So, I don't know. Hey, Bendik, welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying your first stream, man. Falcon's probably just cooking a steak. So guys, it's 1-1 here in this finals. Green was able to win the first game with his Dark Elves versus Lizardmen, taking out the dreaded Dreadsorian, the Shredder of Lustria. Game 2 did go to Falcon. He was able to narrowly pull it out with Mel Gibson hunting down the Skaven. And now we're here in Game 3. Not bad, Nathan, not bad. So Falcon, of course, loves his dragons, and he's actually going to be going for a defensive build. So rather than using Sisters to take out big threats, he's going to be coming in with a very, very defensive posture. So for the army, he does have the Fireborn. Fireborn, of course, anti-large. Not the best AP, but nonetheless still quite good. Plus the fire resistance they have, which I believe is 75%, is pretty good against salamanders and things like that. So in case there is a wild salamander pick, the Fireborn can be quite good. 2 groups of Lothran Seaguard to give him some missile pressure, fend off Pterodons, put, peppering damage into some of the bigger targets. And on top of that, he's got Spears and 2 groups of Phoenix Guard, plus a Star Dragon. So very much going for a defensive kind of Helm's Deep formation. Alarielle, of course, is going to be super strong with a build like this because she has the healing. She's going to be able to heal up the Halberds and the Dragon and some of these other troops here. But, I mean, this is a nice build by Falcon. It's there's not too many vulnerable spots in the army. It's very tanky and very strong and independent. Now for Green's build, it looks like he's going to be coming in with a Coldland Spear Rider, so he's going to be trying to probably take out the Fireborn with these guys in a 2v1 fight, using some magic from a Slann or whatever other lord he brought. Now he is going to be going with regular Paddle and Kroxigor, so they got their paddles out. They will do well against, Phoenix Guard and Spearmen, but again, the Phoenix Guard will do it well back. So if the Kroxigors are fighting the Phoenix Guard with Skink and Saurus support, they'll do well, but without the support, they'll get killed very quickly. So he's got a couple of those, and it looks like on the far side, he does have the Power Fist Kroxigors. So these guys are going to be coming in, getting a -1 to hit with their attacks because their weapons are cumbersome, but nonetheless, good AP and magic damage. So the magic damage, if you look at Phoenix Guard here in the back, they actually have really good physical resist. So there is a bit of a niche for these guys against a build like this. So very, very cool. Sacred Kroxigors, probably going to be one of the first targets Falcon goes after. More Coldland Spear Riders in the back, and a Slann Mage with fire. Interesting stuff, a Fire Slann. So the Burning Head can roast the archers and the spearmen, and the Cascading Fire Cloak is quite good. Fireball is not going to be as useful, but still a very, very cool army from Green. I like it quite a bit, so excited for this. Yes. I'm a juice and water person. Hey, that's fair play. And it's been making me these delicious smoothies with mango, has like almond milk, and then it has freaking like tart cherry juice and a couple other things. Bananas. It's really, really good. So here in the sky, the glorious Alarielle the Radiant's going to be flying over with her dragon sidekick, and they're going to be looking for opportunities. Breath attacks could be pretty good, on Kroxigors if you're able to get that good angle, but I think Falcon's going to wait and try and... Slans are actually pretty good targets for breath attacks because they're very slow and they can't really dodge. So if the Star Dragon were to go over the top of the Slan and just breathe directly down on him, that could be very strong. So yeah, Dragon Princes do have physical resist as well, so the Power Fist Kroxigors do have a nice niche application against them, and they actually are more of a generalist unit. So if you look at Sacred Kroxigors, anyone who's new, they have 36 melee attack and 26 melee defense compared to 26-26. So that means Sacred Kroxigors are going to be better against cav units, but not quite as good against infantry, although their damage output 120 against 95, so arguably they would be. But Sacred Kroxigors are better against more threats. They're more dynamic than regular Kroxigors. But again, regular Kroxigors, if you're expecting mostly infantry, still are very, very good. So the Lizards of Green are going to be advancing up the hill, both players kind of vying for the high ground, and Falcon was able to get his Phoenix Guard front and center, which is quite good, and the Fireborn are just going to be lurking in the back, just waiting to kind of hammer out any threats on the flank. Falcon doesn't need to push out because he does have the Lothran Seaguard, so he's probably just going to be using them to just kind of poke and force in some of the Lizardmen elements. However, these spears could get crumped pretty quick, and Green could do massive overloads, for example. Oh, and Falcon's going to be taking a charge in the back. He wasn't braced for that, so he's going to be taking some damage, and I don't think Falcon wants to commit the Fireborn. It looks like the Fireborn are kind of up in the center here, so he's trying to kind of figure out where the best place to go would be. Coldland Spear Riders will be falling back, and the Paddle and Masters are going to be coming in, so the Power Fist Kroxigors will be surging into the Phoenix Guard, and the Saurus Warriors will be engaging in the front line as well. Now, the Fire Slann probably going to be dropping some Burning Skulls down the flanks of the Spearmen, really trying to spit roast those guys. However, a Burning Skull on top of the Lothran Seaguard would also be a very, very good choice. So we have a big blob fight over here, but I think it's going to favor Falcon, actually, because he has Spears and Halberds and Fireborn plus heals. There's no way that the Sacred Kroxigors, who are already taking a huge beating from the missiles and some of these other tools, will do well. Burning Skull going down the formation is able to eviscerate. Very good Burning Skull. Not like the best one, but it still is able to get some Lothran Seaguard and stop them from shooting. And also, even though the Lizards may lose this particular flank over here, they're doing pretty well in the bottom as well. You can see that the Kroxigors will eventually get through the Spears, and that's going to be a bit of a collapse here on this flank here for the Dinos. So you can see Alarielle up in the sky, probably going to be dropping some Earthbloods and other effects like that, so she does drop Earthblood here, but these halberds are just not giving an inch. They're just holding firm. The Star Dragon here is going to be very, very good against these elite units, and a banishment coming down from the Slann in the back is rotating the right direction and actually chasing the Lothran Seaguard. But you can see Falcon is going to be spam clicking very aggressively, keeping those Lothran Seaguard away from the banishment. Granted, they do kind of get mulched there at the last second, but for the most part, it was pretty good value. Now, this flank engagement for the dinos was pretty catastrophic. You can see Falcon was able to win that very heavily. These Skink cohorts with Javelins and the Coldwind Spear Riders are being forced back, and these Elite Knights, the Fireborn, plus a Star Dragon just hammering out this formation. And, you know, the Power Fist Kroxigor is doing their best, but a Star Dragon has enough AP to really just kind of feast on their souls. Just the overhead clubs coming in from those guys. So yeah, Sacred Kroxigors have 10 models left. They have gotten some healing, so they are going to be able to kind of punch in the middle, but Falcon winning this flank is pretty big. And the Fireborn here are going to be chasing down these very beleaguered Coldwind Spear Riders and pretty much going to be nullifying their effectiveness for the rest of this battle. Another Burning Head's going to be going down here from Green. Going to be getting some okay damage, but Falcon very quick on the dodges. I can tell you from experience, I played many games with Falcon, and he rarely misses a dodge. So right here, Kroxigors are going to be piling in, and like we kind of expected earlier, this flank would be collapsing for the High Elves because Falcon did invest most of his resources into the other side. Bit of a whiff on the breath attack from the Star Dragon, but it's okay, not the biggest deal. But the Lizards are into the back line now, and they are able to collapse on top of the Lothran Seaguard. And the Lothran Seaguard will be falling, but the fact that the Star Dragon is so healthy, and there's not really that much powerful anti-large left for the dinos, I just don't see the Lizardmen winning this battle. So the Slann Mage of Fire is going to be running, and the Star Dragon here just cackling, and, no, I don't know if they cackle, but, you know, he probably is. And Alarielle's even getting in on her Pigeon and doing some work against the Slann. I mean, it's one of the few situations in which she can win a duel. But believe it or not, Alarielle isn't a slouch. She actually has pretty good combat stats. So she is going to be overcasting a Phos Protection. Oh, and getting such a juicy Star of Averlorn, healing up those Phoenix Guard, which the Lizards have had to work so hard to take out. But suddenly they're just healed up, they're topped off. The Star Dragon's going to be coming in and just punching these guys in the face. And the Kroxigors here getting broken off, and that is probably going to be... that's going to be it, I think. I just don't think the Lizards can take it, and Green is going to be withdrawing. Falcon goes up 2-1. There you go. Do I think that the Dread Saurian should get stock? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was a game. 2-1 here. Is the Dark Lord Green going to be able to advance? We will find out. Will he tie up the series? So if Falcon wins this next game, it's over. Now there's a map I wanted to do. I'm going to wait till I find this. It has like a very strange name. It's the new Albion map. Where are you? Where are you, Albion map? If we could do like the Battle of the Eternal Tides. Oh my god, that would be so terrible. Like that maps like that force people into like blobby fights and narrow spaces are just so bad. Oh, the Ogham Shard, there it is. This is a really fun map. So the Ogham Shard is pretty good. It's a fun map. It certainly is good for aquatics because it's kind of a swamp, but it's a lovely looking map. It's really good. Star Dragon is not underpowered. Star Dragons are very good units. Make the Dreads, give the Dread Saurian snipe, stock, 360 shooting. Dread Saurian needs fly. Imagine the Dread Saurian flying. Somebody should make a mod for that. That'd be so haggard. So Green's going High Elves and he's banning Bretonia. Falcon, let's see what he picks for here for the last game. Potentially the last game, if he wins it. But if Green wins this, it'll go to game 5, boys. Oh, Falcon coming in with the Empire, trying to win the hearts of the people. Well then. Make sure I didn't miss anything during the stream. I did not. We're all good. Flying Dread Saurian is probably the best of all the memes I've heard regarding the Dread Saurian. Aquatics does matter on this map. Absolutely. Flying, give the Dread Saurian a breath attack too. Just have it like launch skinks out of its mouth. Empire is coming in. Empire vs. High Elves. Probably going to be seeing, I don't know if we'll see any of the new stuff. You could see Marcus Wolfheart here actually. Marcus could be pretty good. Like, he's going to be able to pick off high value targets. He has nets to control the cav game. Brings a lot of utility to the battlefield. I would love to see a Marcus pick. I think that'd be really fun. Empire's really strong. Empire's in a good place right now. The Elector counts are being summoned by Falcon, it would seem. Green is on the ropes, but never underestimate him, man. He played a really solid series today in both of his games. And now he's going to be coming in only down 1 game. So if he can tie this, I mean, it's going to go to game 5, which, you know, is the rubber match. They should have Grimgor Ironhide. give the Dreadsaurian comically small wings and have Grimgor ride it. Grimgor's mount should be a Dreadsaurian because he's the biggest and the baddest and he can tame it. Imagine Grimgor Ironhide riding a Dreadsaurian. Just like a Haggard like T-pose on top of it, just because it's like super hard to mod it in. So just have Grimgor like T-posing on top of the Dreadsaurian. Oh my god, that would be so funny. So Alt says he's building this while doing his Adeptus Custodes army. Custodes are very strong, for sure. Just spam jet bikes, man. Jet bikes are incredibly powerful. And Custodes infantry are okay, but they're a little bit slow for the cost is the main issue with them. We've had a lot of elves today, for sure. But, you know, it's different every week. It depends on who you have playing. Falcon says he's going to grab some tea real quick. The Dreadsaurian should have a Dreadsaurian mount. That's pretty good, Rome. Grimgor as a mount for the Saurian. Looted Dreadsaurian for orcs. Where are they going to loot that from, you know? You know, oh, we have 1,337 people watching. The number, it's here. The elite. It'll only last a couple seconds. It's quite a golden moment to have. So the question is, how did Grimgor tame it? Says Vextor. He Ed-butted it. Oh my god. You want Krokar riding Grimlock riding a Shredder. Grimgor has a mount in the lore? Yeah, Grimgor... Oh, I don't think Grimgor rides anything in lore. No, I think he's just always on foot. Although, Lore Master of Sotek's probably still here and can more efficiently answer that question for you. I feel like Grimgor wouldn't want to ride anything. I feel like he's just like, walks around, just doing his thing. Yeah. It's good times for all, guys. 2 hours and 11 minutes into this glorious battle. I'm going to sit back and stretch my legs for a second as I just fall over. These various baskets behind me. Oh. Falcon is ready. Green is next up. Is the man, the myth, the legend going to be able to come back from the clutches of defeat and take down one of the champions of Season 1? We'll find out. There was elite number of people watching, but it was a moment that faded into antiquity. All right, feet are good. My feet are strong. You guys remember that Dave Chappelle skit from back in the day? Where Dave Chappelle's character, I think he's like, I forget his name, but he goes onto the Fear Factor and like, they have to walk over like hot coals, but he just like walks over it, no problem. He's like, my feet are strong, Joe Rogan. So good. Summon the Lore Master. Grimgor is too big and heavy, says Sotek. Yeah. I mean, he could probably find something to ride. I mean, Grimgor could ride a dragon for sure. Dragons could carry him, I think. Although I don't know. He does wear like some heavy ass armor too. Here we go, guys. Lore Master of Sotek says he'd probably also beat his own mount to death in anger if he ever had one. That's pretty funny. In a sad way. Imagine Grimgor riding like a hog that's like just too small for him. That would be so funny. Grimgor rides Archaon. Oh, man. All right, guys. Currently, Falcon is up 2-1 here in this finals of the Eternal Challenger League Qualifier number 1. It's been a glorious day of competition, but alas, all that is good in life must eventually come to an end. As we do wrap up this series, Green is on the ropes. If he wins this, it will go 2-2 and we'll go to the rubber match of Game 5, but I think that Falcon is going to be coming for blood with a very, very competitive Empire army. Oh my god, does he have 4 Demograph Knights? Oh my goodness. That's something I haven't seen since Warhammer 1. Alright, so for Falcon's army, he's coming in with the Emperor. Karl Franz coming in with the Steel Chair, of course. Reichland Runefang, Galmaraz, his items are both very, very good. But he's going to be coming in with 4 Demogryph Knights, so 2 regular ones, and the Royal Altorfgrifites here, of course, are an anti-large halberd variant. But for the most part, they're all regular demis, so they're very designed to kill infantry. They have a higher overall weapon strength, I think, or let's see what the Griffites have. Oh, I thought he was Vanguard deploying the Griffins. I was like, what? What is this new treachery? So yeah, you can see the regular Demogryph Knights do have higher kind of combat stats to boot, but they're not going to be as good against large targets. But nonetheless, they still do good enough. There's a Life Wizard as well, a bunch of Spearmen in the front line, but 4 Demogryph Knights. Wow, what a build. On top of that, we do also have Outriders with grenade launchers and 1 group of Pistoliers who are pretty good against light armor. I mean, grenade launchers can really tear apart Spearmen and Archers if they're able to get close, and Pistoliers are just kind of a general, decent skirmishing unit. I don't know about this build. It's very interesting. So Green's build in the front line is going to be 4 groups of White Lions, which are solid. They'll beat down state troops, and they also have enough AP to actually hurt Demogryph Knights. On top of that, he's got Silver Helms here, Spearmen in the back with Lothern Seaguard, who are going to be pulling up the rank. This is pretty good. In case your opponent sneaks in with a silver bullet or something, having this guy is nice. Now, does he have a bolt thrower? Is this the question? See, if Falcon had come in with a meme tank, okay, yeah, he does have a bolt thrower. That's good. So the bolt thrower is a pretty good answer against the meme tank. For his Lord Poise, he has a Lithanar! So I think he was expecting Marcus. He brought a Lithanar. Now, Lithanar will be very good against Demogryph Knights. He has good AP, he hits like a truck, and he can range those demis pretty hard. There's going to be a Moondragon as well, but again, a very defensive formation. Falcon's really going to have to work for this one, because I think Green's army probably has, I don't know, Karl Franz though? Karl Franz will beat down this Moondragon pretty bad, and can easily kill a Lithanar, so I would say it's going to be pretty even here. No, so Xiphos, it's not a rule break because the Regiments of Renown are in a different category. So you can have 3 Demogryph Knights. It's just you can do Dragon Princes, and then you could get the Fireborn to kind of extend your unit cap there. Because he has 3 Demogryph Knights, and one of them is the Royal Altar of Gryphite. So he has the proper rule, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Lithanar coming in with the Steel Bow and taking out 2 Demogryph Knights. And now every Demogryph Knight model you lose is a huge loss. That's catastrophic. Those units are very, very expensive. So Lithanar are actually doing pretty good against demis, forcing those guys back. Spearmen are going to be coming in, and Falcon is going to be blitzing this flank. But the Bolt Thrower shooting in against the Royal Altar of Gryphites. Very, very good target priority here from Green. He's going after all the juicy targets, which I think is quite solid. A Lithanar does run out of ammo really quick, though. My goodness. So he's probably going to be turning, shooting at Demogryph Knights. And, Falcon might just wait in the forest, but his Spearmen are advancing. He's basically probably going to wait for his Spearmen to get in range to fight, and then he'll advance with his Demogryph Knights and other things like that. So it's the Walmart Marcus. Yes, Lithanar. He's the Walmart budget version of Marcus Wolfhart. Karl Franz going to be sweeping around the flank, maybe looking for an engagement here. I'm not sure where he's going to go. He probably wants to just goon out the Moondragon, but the Dragon's going to be going in for a center engagement. I mean, the Empire doesn't have any good anti-large here. I mean, Spearmen in themselves are anti-large, but against a Moondragon, it's not going to be great. And Green needs to be more careful with his ammo on the Lithanar, because if he's wasting it shooting into spears, that could really punish him as we do get into the late game here. So Demogryph Knights with the countercharge are able to force back the Silver Helms, and the Archers of the High Elves from Green and the Sea Guard are shooting in, doing some work. But the Grenade Launchers are really shrekking these Spearmen. Oh my goodness, look at this. Grenade Launchers just tearing apart the Spearmen on the flanks, which is going to open up some backline pressure. But now the Spearmen have engaged. Karl Franz coming in with the steel chair, and that High Mage took a beating, but very, very good micro there. Green is able to get away, and Karl Franz is fully surrounded. Granted, nothing that's surrounding him here is terribly threatening. Now he is going to be able to countercharge with the Royal Altar of Gryphites if he wants to, but Franz looks like he's just going to be able to get away. So Demogryph Knights are hammering into the front, and these Demogryph Knights, this variant is actually very good against armored infantry. So the White Lines will be taking some damage, but Falcon's Karl Franz he's in the danger zone, guys. He's going to be countercharging here against the Moondragon, but if he gets a jump on the Dragon, is able to get a few attacks, and also has the support of the Royal Altar of Gryphites, who are now buffed by the Reikland Runefang. So all these Royal Altar of Gryphites here just have juicy melee attack. You can see that big buff going down on all these guys. And man, Karl Franz is just destroying this Moondragon, just no mercy. But again, that's partially due to the fact that the Royal Altar of Gryphites have it pinned in here, so that's a very, very good grab. Apotheosis is going to be going down from the Elves, and the Lithanar seems like he hasn't really done much so far. It seems like he's having trouble getting those optimal engagements. Maybe he could snipe out this Lifecaster or something, but he needs to really kind of pepper down those Demogryph Knights. The White Lions in sustained combat will be pretty good here. They, of course, will do good damage against the spears. Moonbow has gone down, but did pretty much nothing here, and Demogryph Knights in the back are able to push through and just hammer down the Silver Helms. So now Lithanar is going to be wrapped up. The Demogryph Knights and Karl Franz are just, swiggity swooty. You better pucker up, man. Karl Franz is coming for you, and that's going to be really bad. So Franz here is going to be going down. Lithanar is going to just get murdered by Franz, and that's going to be game at this point. I think that this back line, including the caster plus a Lithanar just going down like this, is going to be too much to come back from. A Lithanar here just getting murked by Karl. Just brutal stuff here. Just disturbing beatdown. The Demogryph Knights are going to be able to cycle charge. The Bolt Thrower is pretty much compromised as well, so there's not going to be any kind of pressure to kind of, keep the Demogryph Knights at bay. And now they're just cycle charging with impunity. Falcon's just pretty much all over the place here. So you can see here, Karl Franz is going to be coming in. A Lithanar is going to be getting chased off, and negative 28. There's no way he's going to be coming back. The Emperor, he comes in. Steel, faith, and gunpowder. Yeah, I mean, it actually is in the name for one, so it makes sense. I really like his Demogryph Knight play. I mean, Falcon coming in with very strange builds, but I mean, they work, right? So he's going to be getting a charge into Lothran Seaguard here with the Royal Altar of Gryphites and punishing those guys. The Bolt Thrower is just tied up with troops. And the White Lions are doing very well, actually able to really cut down quite a few of these Demogryph Knights, but there's no way. Karl Franz is just too pissed off. And is he going to chase him off? No, green withdraws. That's game. GG. The Moonbow just killed the dragon. So Lithanar just felt bad. He's like, I'm sorry, Moon Dragon. I'll put you out of your misery. It's like in The Walking Dead when they like shoot someone who's caught by zombies. You know? This is the new patch. Yeah, this is the new patch. Correct. There were changes, I think, to regular Demogryph Knights as well, but that was a cool build. That was a really cool build. But man, the Lithanar just got taken to town. And again, there was no like anti-large really to deal with like Franz. There was nothing that could stop him. I mean, the Moon Dragon can't fight Karl Franz. Yeah, it's tough. The Moonbow blocked by a Moon Dragon. So guys, that is going to be it for today. Falcon is going to be our champion, and he shall qualify for the... So let us go ahead and add his name to the glorious tablet. Let me find that. We're going to add the first name in. Just got to do a little typing here, guys. Bear with me. We're not going to take it. So Falcon is the first to qualify for the Eternal Challenger League Season 3 Grand Finals. He has earned his place on the Tablet of the Emperor with a solid Imperial victory, so that makes sense. Congrats to him. The Dark Lord returns. Oh yeah, that was a nasty, nasty game. Those Demogryph Knights did some work. Green played very well, but you know, those were some aggressive builds that really were able to pay some huge dues. So for today's bracket, Falcon will be moving on to claim the glorious victory here in the finale. And I just want to thank you guys for joining. That was a really fun day. It's good to have the Eternal Challenger League back. It's good. It feels good. There was a little bit of an absence there during the end of the DLC, but it's the boys are back in town, and we're here to stay. So guys, Eternal Challenger League is probably going to be once or twice a week. I'll try and announce it a little bit ahead of time, but sometimes I just do it off the cuff. If I wake up and I'm feeling like hyped, I'll just do it. So I'll try my best to have a schedule with it, but again, I'll also try my best to announce it to you guys and all that. But Falcon is going to be the champion for today, claiming a glorious victory here. His name will be on Karl Franz's letter here. What about that Slann that jogs everywhere? There's a Slann that runs? No, there's not. Is that a thing? Are you just making that up, Calvin? Anyways, guys, special thanks to all the folks who donated today. So to Ian, the Sullied, Martin, Kildemos, the Sullied for becoming a member, Fly on Bread, Snuffleupagus, Mexicanos, number 1, Balbach, Jonathan, Anton Ager, Simon Benjamin, Flayden 11, Garland Green, Andrea De Clarini, Peter for becoming a member, and Ego. Dude, you make me crave Egos every time you donate on stream. And thank you guys all for joining. It's been fun. I appreciate just hanging out. Drop a like on the way out if you don't mind. It does help out. Gets more people involved in the multiplayer scene. And yeah. Turin, when will we get some good old Orc games? I actually have one coming up in the next couple days, so stay tuned. It's really good. It was actually against Dob Plays. He plays Orcs, but it was a great game. So Dob was using Skarsnik in that game, and it was awesome. So that'll be going up on my channel in a couple days. The Empire is very epic. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I am off to hang out with my smoking hot, lovely wife, and I will see you guys in the next couple days. There won't be a stream tomorrow because I'm playing in a Warhammer 40k tournament, but on Monday will probably be the next stream. I would imagine. Yeah, we'll probably do something on Monday. Maybe like the Karl Franz campaign will continue or something like that. All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the mods who are helping out in chat. Appreciate you guys as well. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.